What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of the Pylon Show. I'm Jeff, in control Robinson, and I don't know if you guys can hear that mic, but I certainly can. Damn it, Matt! No, maybe nobody can. Anyways, it's just me talking, my voice is in my head. My co-host, as always, is the most handsome, intelligent, funny, and just all around the second best commentator in Korea. It is Artosis. Dan, how you doing?
Hello. Very well. 18
Good.
episodes. That went fast. It only took us like 19 weeks to do as well.
Yeah, we only missed 1 week. Actually, this has been pretty incredible.
Pretty good.
And still, I get asked when the show's going to be on. And I'm excited for when we're like, episode 294. And somebody will be like, when is it? When is it next week? And I'll be like, Anyways, we have two very special guests this week. People from a little bit more of the Starcraft Remastered / Brood War background. All around great people that Dan and I have come to know and love. We've got Sham2, and that is that your Twitter, actually?
Yeah.
What the fuck? You spell it with an SCH in other places.
Oh, wait. Yeah, no. Hold on. Yeah, that's right. It's SCH.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Now I'm looking at the UI. Right. Yeah.
Matt lives in Georgia, so you have to understand this.
Well, it's okay. Everybody forgets that there's the C there. I forget.
I feel like there's a joke here about how school is spelt with SCH, and I don't know.
There's a joke somewhere in there. We'd have to uncover it. Welcome to the show. Good to have you here. We'll get into Mr. Schamtoo here in a minute, but we also have Jaeyun. Am I even coming close to pronouncing that correct? Is that?
No, that is correct. I mean,
I always doubt it.
Oh my god, I've been calling you Jaeyun for a year.
It's all good. I mean, a lot of people say it either way. I mean, it's all right.
I have fear of cooler names than the boring ass white guy name because like Fear Dragon, his name is Ravi. So to me, that's Ravi, and I called him Ravi for like a year or two, and then finally he was like, "Hey man, it's Ravi," and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure." And
really?
Like, oh yeah. And then since then, I've done my best to call him Ravi because it's like that's his fucking name, but it's so programmed in my head that I still go like Ravi. I'm like Ravi.
I thought it was Ravi. Yeah.
It's Ravi.
Oh
it's 100% Ravi. Anyways.
And I normally don't get names wrong, so this is a shock to everybody. And
yeah, you should call up Idra and let him know about this.
That is his ID. I'm in charge of that.
How do you say his name? Idra?
Idra? It's Idra. But, yeah.
People spread that it's Idra. It's not. Jeff, I do want to point out that the spelling of your name, Geoff.
Yeah.
Skew called you Geoff. If you recall this, he actually thought your name was Geoff.
Who did?
Skew. Don't you remember this
when
he first met you?
No,
he literally was like Geoff, and we're like, what?
That one's a funny one because my name's common enough that universally you'll never talk to a Jeff or Geoff spelled my way, and they won't have the same kind of like, you know how you can smile with your eyes when we look at each other and we're like, people call you Geoff. We both kind of look at each other that like look of, fuck yeah, they do. Just kind of quietly accept it between the two of us. It doesn't happen often, but it does. Anyways, really happy to have you guys here. Thank you to our guests for coming on. We're going to have a really nice show, as always. I think this has been super awesome and fun. It's nice to have you guys finally on here. Sham2, is this your first time, by the way?
This is my first time.
Okay. I have to ask, because one time I had Nero on for a second or third time, and to me it was the first time. So my line of questioning was beyond awkward. And then he sensed it, too, so I think he was like, yeah, I'm happy
one of
to be
those
here
units.
again
I've never seen that before.
Why
all the queens?
Did he put the emphasis on again just to like really kind of like grate that in there? Happy to be here again.
Yep.
GE off the patient.
He was super polite about it. Cobra forgot to turn off the alerts, Cobra, if you don't mind doing that. But we'll go ahead and get into the roadmap, of course. We're going to do everything as we always do, but who knows what that is. We're going to do This Week in StarCraft. We're going to talk about our stuff. Our topics, rather, and then we're going to get to the Q&A. And as always, if you're interested in asking questions, it's on the Discord. Every week I see people ask it in the chat, and I feel bad because it's like you're way out in the ocean. You're like, help me! And I'm like, no. So do it in the Discord, and you can get those questions there. But before we do, we have a really special thing. Dan told us last week that he would be getting the AFKT sample, and he would not taste it until live on air. And Dan's a man of his fucking word, so he's got that cup right there.
I'm here for you guys. So I was sent it. AFKT.com, they sponsor the Pylon Show. This is called Golden Leaf. That's what it comes in, nice little bag. It actually looks exactly like the picture on the website. I went
wow.
to double check. So it's not one of these things where you look at a McDonald's ad and you're like, oh, I want to get that. And then you go in and it just looks like shit. So it
Every
looked
time.
good. I brewed it via the directions correctly. And here we go.
Wow.
What if you just?
And I brewed it long enough ago that I can drink it right
Oh,
now.
really?
Yeah.
Like really, I put a lot of thought into
We're
this.
high
today.
production now. Yeah, we're high production. He just sips it and immediately throws up.
It's very good.
It's very good. All right, well there you have it. And Dan wouldn't lie.
I like tea, and I will tell you it's very good. It's super tasty.
So we'll see as the show goes on. The caffeine content is like, oh, you didn't check that. It's like 7,000% your daily need or whatever. Golden leaf, no. Anyways, shout out to AFKT of course and Lycan. He got a little partnership with the show, and hopefully after his company sells for $11 billion, it'll become a big partnership. This week in StarCraft, Dan, though, let's rip through it because we have some.
Okay.
We have some every week in StarCraft, I think.
Yes, we have a lot of things this week in StarCraft, so I'll go quickly. First up, the Coach Pupil League Season 3. This is a Brood War tournament, and it's kind of interesting. You go and sign up. It's on Team Liquid, so just kind of look for, if you search CPL Season 3 or just CPL, you'll find it within the Brood War General section. And it's basically a league where better players are coaching a team of players, and you have multiple coaches per team.
Really cool.
And the lesser players are going to learn from these coaches and then get to play against each other. And you, like, for instance, if you sign up, you don't have to play every week. You know, obviously a lot of people who play Brood War are busy, have a job or something, and that's totally fine. But it looked really cool. That's
if I may, it's actually run by my best friend from even before kindergarten. Actually, the guy who got me into Brood War, Python. And it's really awesome. I played a little bit of it last season, but I had to like quit. But they have like tiers of like how good like people are too, so they kind of like pair everybody off a little bit more evenly. So you're not going to be going against people who consider themselves amateurs like myself, even if you like literally just started Brood War. It's really awesome, and a lot of people sign up for it and don't really do that much else in Brood War.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. So a great initiative right there, and cheers them. Definitely check that out on teamliquid.net. All right, there's also a new co-op commander, Tychus.
Gamescom was announced, I guess, right?
Yes, I believe that is where it was announced.
Oh shit.
Again, Jeff and I don't really do co-op, so I can't say too much more, but I thought that Tychus was one of my favorite characters in the single player. The Firebat is a fun unit.
He's not a Firebat.
Yeah. Check it out.
He's not a Firebat.
I mean, wasn't he originally a Firebat?
No.
In the game, in the single player of StarCraft 1? Was he not a Firebat? Am I crazy?
No, there wasn't a Firebat hero. There was, well, Goemon Tog and like one of the...
God damn, you just named a Brood Wars hero from 20 years ago.
Okay, well...
Get the fuck out of here, Sham.
All right, well, anyways, new co-op commander, Tychus. Definitely check that out.
This is the most dad moment, by the way. You're like, I like the Firebat. And it's like, everyone's like, he wasn't a Firebat.
I could have sworn he was a Firebat.
No. I mean, I don't think so.
I know he's in the Marine suit in the StarCraft 2 thing. By the way, fuck Jim Raynor, man.
Seriously, fuck that guy.
Sorry, spoiler alert, Wings of Liberty end. I was totally bummed out. If that was tasteless, no way, man.
You
I
wouldn't shoot him?
shot him. No.
What did Tychus do to get shot, though?
And then suddenly the Zerg is over, and it's like, Tasteless is a hero, and I'm like, wow, Tasteless, thanks for talking me out of that. Okay. On to the next thing in this week in StarCraft. Banshee Tournament number 3 is happening this Saturday at 12 p.m. EST on Zombie Grub's channel. Twitch.tv/Zombie Grub.
Yep,
it is an all-women tournament, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I looked up the word Banshee. That is a female ghost. And the Banshee unit in StarCraft 2 has a female pilot.
Not bad.
Damn, those are doing their homework.
I will lead the way, by the way. I'll donate $100 of my Pylon Show money to this.
Oh.
We'll get it rolling.
Nice.
Very nice.
You know what? Actually, I'll just say that I'm going to do that and probably never end up doing it. So let's keep it. No, I'm just kidding. Or am I? We don't know. It's impossible.
Well, it is on Matcherino.com, as is Pylon Show, Matcherino.com/Pylon Show. And it's got prizing to the top 4, so that's pretty awesome. Okay, the next thing would be Rotterdam was a guest on the latest episode of the Heads Up Daily. You can search Heads Up Daily on YouTube. It was kind of a nice little interview. I didn't watch the whole thing, but Roddy basically talking about GSL versus World and Serral. So
can you pause the video real quick?
Could be worth your time.
Pause the video. Enhance. Can you zoom in on that right host a little bit? No? He can't do it. It's a YouTube video.
Oh.
It's a very good show. I think this show has something that the Pylon show is missing. You know what I mean?
What is it?
We need a female co-host like her, I think.
Well, you get right on that, Jeff, and then we'll have it.
I'll try.
All right. So check that out, Heads Up Daily. All right. From Beast and Shen on Discord, we got a notification that in Columbus, Ohio, at the Game Arena, there is, or it's near Columbus, Ohio at least, there's going to be a StarCraft 2 tournament this weekend. Apparently, this is a LAN that happens each month. It's $10 to enter, and it's at a PC bong, so you can play on the PCs as well with that entry money. And there's beer available for when you lose.
Beer available.
So, yeah. Or, I mean, before you lose, which could cause the loss as well.
I like the direction StarCraft's going. We got a pizza tournament. We got a beer tournament. Yeah.
Oh, that's sick. In fact,
definitely play into the stereotype here.
Yeah.
You get eliminated, right, from the Game Arena tournament, and you're having a beer, and then you go win the pizza pie.
Oh, my God.
Have it delivered, and then it's really like you won.
You could feed yourself. You could go homeless and actually feed yourself off of StarCraft.
Yeah, at least once a month. You lose a lot of weight that way. It's called the Pizza Pie Weekly Diet. Yeah, so check that out on Facebook.com/Game Arena Columbus.
Okay.
In something new in the news, Zest, who just, by the way, qualified for the round of 8 once again in GSL Code S. He joins Scythe Esports. You can check out Scythe Esports _ on Twitter.
Hi, Matt.
And you can check out Zest _ SC2 on Twitter.
Sorry, Dan.
What?
Matt got tired of being behind the camera, so he's like, Shamtoo, you're now Jaeyun, and I'm Shamtoo. Fuck you guys. All right, that is really cool, though. Zest with the big result.
I see it now. That's great.
That's Matt, guys.
He got kicked off.
Yeah, there he is. There he is. Sometimes he has a beard and mustache. Right now he doesn't. Yeah. Looking sharp.
So, guys, I just became a really good NA Zerg.
You're MMR. Look at this. Shamtoo switches to Zerg. MMR goes way up. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
So you're like 2K now, easy.
My God. Anyways, that's really great news about Zest.
Yeah.
I actually kind of forgot that he was still teamless, to be honest with you. So
there's a few people that are like unbelievably good that don't have teams, and I'm always surprised. And then OJ Gaming pick up innovation, right? Then like Zest is a finalist, he's on team. So great job to Scythe picking him up. That's great.
Good luck.
All right. Team Revolution, which is actually Keen's team, has an article up about Keen. And it's a preview for the round of 16. Keen, of course, plays this Saturday in the round of 16 with TY, SOS, and Stats. And that's at revolution.gg. Excuse me. So you can
Friday, by the way, for everyone outside of Korea. Friday, like night, Saturday morning.
I don't care about those people, Tasteless.
It's literally everyone.
I just called you Tasteless.
You know what's funny about that? I heard you say that, and I took it as a compliment too. And I'm like, should I?
I'm too comfortable with you, Jeff.
That's right.
I'm just when I want someone to shut up, I just call them Tasteless. No Tasteless. Okay, shut up. Okay. The Gauntlet Global Open. Open to all players of all skills anywhere. $100 prize pool. 75 to the winner, 25 to the runner-up.
Cool.
You can check that out on Challenge. This is, Gauntlet does a lot of stuff. So you can check that out, twitch.tv/GauntletSC2. And it's gauntletSC2.challenge.com to find that. Okay, this next one is really kind of cool. And I don't know how I didn't know about this already. Bite-sized StarCraft 2 celebrates the completion of its first year of content. It is a series of short videos for new players covering simple mechanics as well as mindset issues.
Wow.
And you can check this out. It's from Aoret SC2, right? So his Twitter handle is AORETSC2. I see this guy posting a lot and doing a lot within the community and being active. But I hadn't seen that he has been making these videos. So there's a playlist of 52 videos that kind of go over very simple things very quickly and very efficiently. So it'll be like a minute-long video where he shows you how to blink and kill a widow mine, you know, little tiny things like that. He's like, here's what you're waiting for. The missile shoots out. That's when you blink. If you miss it, you die. You know, it's like these simple things that for a new player is like really great. Like
Very
little
cool.
minute clips. Like I think every game should have stuff like that. I know when I've gone and learned new games for the first time, like I would have killed for a series like this.
Yeah.
So cheers to this guy for making it. 52 episodes. Damn.
Do me a favor to our viewers and listeners with that kind of content. I know a lot of you are more towards the hardcore side of StarCraft or like not necessarily utilizing that content. Be on the lookout for people that do. The guy's videos only had like 40 or 50 views tops across the board. That's kind of the thing that happens with StarCraft. Is a lot of people make content and then it's a little bit harder, or you know, people aren't like going towards it and giving it eyes. There are people that ask for this kind of thing. I know because they're in my chat every day. So just do what you can to get that kind of videos to the people that need it. Help them out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it would be great, like a little video series like this. There should be some sort of like central location. I know Blizzard's been having people make some content on how to start playing and stuff, and like some beginner stuff from multiple great people in the community. But like, there should be some sort of place where you can go and find all. It's like, oh, do you want like 1 minute clips of, you know, little aspects of the game, like you know what StarCraft 2 is, but you don't really know how to play. Here you go. And that's fantastic. I love to see content like that being made. Very
cool, Ro8. Hang in there, man. Good stuff.
Cool. All right, so updates from Rifkin and Base Trade TV. The BTSL Base Trade Star League, I believe is.
You nailed it, 100%.
Yeah, everything's a Star League. The NA qualifier, Friday the 24th, 5 p.m. PDT. It's for the last 2 spots in the North American BTSL. $50 if you qualify, $1K in tournament prizing. Top finishers invited to the $3,000 cross-server finals. Definitely check out twitter.com/BaseTradeTV for all your Rifkin updates. Also, every week since February, they've been hosting the BTSL Amateur with varying cups for various leagues. First place gets paid coaching from the player or coach of their choice, and other prizing includes things like co-op commanders. There's a Team Liquid thread for it. And yeah, you can check out your Discord to get involved with that as well. Discord.gg/BaseTradeTV. That's really cool, actually. I like the idea of having an amateur tournament where the prize is not money, but getting coaching to get better.
Rifkin's been killing it. Big congrats to him. He was celebrating on Twitter and his channel, of course, hitting 2,000 subs on his channel. So that's that's a lot of subs. It's great. And a shout out to, of course, a lot of the people out there that are listening to the show that make that kind of thing possible. Rifkin's a big content producer, and that's a great example. But he's a big guy in the community, and that's really cool that he's doing well and people are supporting him. It's good times.
Yeah, fantastic. Damn, we have a lot this week in StarCraft, guys. I promise I'll get through it.
Is there more?
Yes, there's more.
God, I was going to say there's so much going on in StarCraft 2.
I mean,
that's a great thing that
I know.
You know?
Yeah. No, this is good. This is good that this has taken so long. Okay, the war chest for the WCS Global Finals has finished. 13 days after its release, it hit the $200,000 goal. And that increases the prize pool by $200,000 at the World Championships. That'll be really cool to pad Rogue's wallet.
In August, by the way. In August. So that's amazing. It opens up the discussion for me personally that, like, and I don't know the reasons for this, by the way, so I'm not about to share, like, private information or something that I know, but, like, why cap it there? 200,000 is really nice. They crushed it. I mean, it's August 21 or whatever, 22, and it's just, you know, why not then say, you've unlocked, can we get to $100,000? Because I think for me personally, the reason why they don't want to aim too high is because they don't want it to be an arms race with the international, because you will lose. There's a culture of them being like $24 million, which is ridiculous numbers. And I understand that you don't want to buy the comparison and stuff like that. And it has done that, by the way. It's been successful that way. Nobody looks at this and says, well, that's pathetic. That's nothing. That people are like, that's awesome. Congrats. But I would like, you know, it'd be cool to see it more. And then the other part that kind of annoys me is it says any remaining money will go towards next year's WCS. but there's zero transparency there, and there's no, I mean, just next WCS, which of course is huge because Blizzard flies all the guys out there. They put in the prize pool. They pay their partners. It's a huge expense to Blizzard, so they're totally in their right to need that money towards, you know, that year. But we don't know. We don't know what it does, so it's not exciting. So it probably doesn't do that well.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to know like just how much overhead of, you know, whatever the prize pool that they added went to the next year. Like, even if it's to say, hey, this isn't, you know, gonna effectively go into the prize pool, this is literally just to help pay for all the flights and everything. It'd be cool to know what that number is. Is it like $2 million or something like that? Like, that would be crazy.
It's a lot, yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
They did announce one thing, is that it helped pay for Nation Wars last year. Last year's war chest. So they did mention that like I forget, like it paid for the prize pool or something like that, or maybe it made it bigger. But yeah, I mean, it does do some things. And I guess they've been not 100% transparent, but definitely.
There's no question of like Blizzard's like taking that money and be like, the profits. Like, they're not doing that. It's amazing what they do with this
Starcraft
money.
Is not a cash cow.
No. And I understand the sticky situation too, because they can't also have a meter and be like, if you guys want a Nations Wars next year, this is what you have to hit, because they're going to do it most likely anyways, and that's kind of the giving spirit they have. So it's not like what I'm complaining about is the most simplest thing in the world. I just personally think this community could raise another 100 or 200,000. I think that'd be really cool. But I don't know the politics. I don't know what their reasoning is, so it's just speculation.
All right. On to the next thing. WESG returns. And, of course, we've had Maru win that. We've had, what was it, TY won it the year before. Insane amounts of money. Big international event. It doesn't get quite as much hype as I think it should. It's like really kind of fun and cool. It kind of reminds me of WCG in the old days. Anyways, go and sign up. It's at worldgaming.com. And, of course, we'll cover that as the tournament actually starts. All right. ICFAR stands for I cast your freaking awesome replays. This sounds like something that Pig is involved with. Let me read this, though.
Did you not know that?
I kind of knew it, but like when I read something like I cast your freaking awesome replays, Pig is the only guy nice enough to say freaking.
I was just about to say, that's the sickest call I've ever heard in my life. Otherwise, like,
yeah. Okay, it's just a copy of Fun Day Monday with more swearing, except not in the title. Not in the title, Pig. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
And a healthy dose of adult humor. There's a weekly challenge that forces you to approach StarCraft differently, and the most entertaining replays get selected to be cast by Pig. It's not skill focused, so we encourage players from Bronze to GM to submit games. Team games are also welcome. All casts will be streamed live and be put on Pig's YouTube channel. The current challenge is government refineries. No one does efficiency like government-owned utilities. You may only mine with one worker from each gas geyser. Send submissions to eonblue95@gmail.com as attachment, and only ICFAR as title of the email. Please name your replay with a matchup and a short description. Latest submission is Monday night, CET.
all right.
Okay. Only one worker per gas. I guess there's going to be a lot of charge all-ins. That's going to be a lot of fun to cast all those.
A lot of Marines.
Yeah. All right. How many more things do we have? Holy God, there's a lot of things this week in StarCraft. Okay, I'm going to do them quick. This is going to be the speed.
Do it.
This version. SPL Round 2 playoffs are underway. Set of show matches on the new Master Round 3. Check it out on Team Liquid. All right. Hey, I'm Flarnot. Flarnot. That's a great ID. Manager of SCV Rush.
Does this start with, hey, I'm Flornot?
Yeah. Hey, I'm Flarnot.
Hey, Flornot!
What's going on, Flarnot?
It's me, Finkelbottom. You ever think what you're doing is really fucking serious and someone says something like that? They're like, what's up? My name's Baby Diaper. And you're like, God damn it. This is my life, isn't it?
Hey, Flarnot. What'd you say? Finkelbottom?
Finkelbottom, dude.
Wow. Damn, Jeff. Okay. Anyways, he's the manager of SCV Rush. They have 3 tournaments a week. A bronze, a diamond every 3 Mondays. Diamond 3 every Monday, an open tournament with $20 prize pool, no SC points every Tuesday, and a bronze master tournament every Wednesday. You can find all the tournaments at scvrush.challenge.com. All right. Thank you, Flarnot. Olima League Week 131 just occurred. Don't forget about Olima League. This was a huge amount of signups. I believe Solar ended up winning this one, which is pretty impressive. In fact, Deer did really well as well. So some of these eliminated GSL guys still practicing super duper hard. And you can definitely check out Olima League on their Patreon as well if you want to get those replays. It's only like $2 per tournament, and you get the sickest replay pack literally available.
They're crushing it. It's so good. It's like these guys take it really serious. It's really cool. And it just has amazing, like, just the guys fighting are really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, Olima League is awesome.
Hero, Zest versus Hero, Zest Solar, like that's so sick.
Hey, most of the top Koreans basically enter it, like, and there's some that are in there basically every week. It's a great tournament, and definitely want to give that its proper shout out. But is it as good as the Pizza Pie Biweekly?
No, obviously not.
Which is, of course, open to people who like pizza and are in NA. All right, or United States specifically. Bronze to Grandmaster, doesn't matter if you like pizza, you can join. So that's everybody. And if you want goat cheese on it, you just order it without cheese and put your own goat cheese on it. Just like, that's the way some people do.
Some people.
And so that is every Sunday starting June 24th at 23 GMT. Check-in starts 30 minutes prior. Sign up on Challenge.
Guy in the chat says
BW.
Solar speaks Masters 2 English.
He does, yeah.
That's really It's like that's actually the rank of his English.
I would say so. But which server?
I thought he said Masters. No, he doesn't say NA or not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe Europe.
Well, check out the Pizza Pie Biweekly. Okay, Blizzard at Gamescom 2018 this week. You can watch in Blizzard's channels on YouTube or Twitch. They also have a website, gamescom.blizzard.com. And I guess that will show all the live streams that they have going on from the event. I don't know what else they are announcing for StarCraft, but I guess Tychus was already announced, so that's cool.
Winter and Loco are there. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Speed
they generally do go. All right, from Kicks. 2 big playlists from STPL, round 1 and 2. There's been over 260 games in STPL. That's the Brood War Clan League so far. There is a Reddit thread up for it, so just check out Shinhan Tank Pro League. All right, from Alessander, the latest check-in with the SC2 AI project. Oriol Vinyals, who is one of the researchers that I actually got to do that panel with at BlizzCon a couple years ago.
Oh, cool.
He's a research scientist at DeepMind, stressed that the goal of the project, it doesn't say anything beyond there, but you can check it out at androidpit.com/AI-video-games-training.
Jesus.
All right.
Hang on, I'm putting that link in right now.
Yeah. All right, from Gorgonov. Some of these ideas are amazing. Okay, the show match on the 25th between Dragon and Nyokin. It's going to be a great matchup sponsored by Matcherino. Yeah, you see the Brood War guys are like, all right, finally some
I know what I'm talking about now.
I know those guys.
Yeah, they have a code on Matcherino as well. Guys, stay logged in to Matcherino because we have Burger as our code this week. Burger. Because it's National Burger Day, which doesn't exist, but we keep doing stuff like this.
I like our living memes that we have going, though. It's like, because you one time were like, listen, this National Day doesn't exist. Matt's just like, every code's the National Day.
There's 365 national days.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, the code is Drag vs. Nyokin to add $1 for free. And you can do retweets and stuff. So check that out. It's on Team Liquid and Matcherino. And that's going to be a great match because Dragon and Nyokin, two of the North American players. So that's great.
It's a best of 9. It's probably going to be like a 4-hour cast.
That is going to be long.
Best of 9.
Especially the way Nyokin plays.
Yeah.
Both of them, really. They're both,
both of them,
players.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dragon's super passive as well. Good Stormer.
Yep.
All right.
Is that it?
That's this week in StarCraft, Jeff.
Damn.
Oh, my God.
Dan, nicely done.
Oh, my God.
We're going to do something real quick because I'm actually terrible at this, so you guys need to help me out. So, Cobra, please post the link to our Matcherino in the chat. guys, I want you to, if you were raised in a Catholic family like me, you know how you were taken to church on Sunday and there's that moment where the hat comes around or a fucking dish or whatever. That's what this is. Put the goddamn code burger into that link right there. It's free. But we need you guys to do this or the show's going, okay? We'll take it away. No, I'm just kidding. But, do it. It takes like 5 seconds. And then if one of you is like a Russian bot hacker or something like that, I'm telling you right now, don't use your powers. No, you probably shouldn't do that, though.
I've just contributed.
Well, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Look how fast he did. He needs to guess on the show.
Wow, look at that.
Burger. No, not burger, man. Just burger.
So, yeah, and by the way, we have our voice packs up, Jeff.
Oh, okay, cool.
They're up on the site. So if you don't have a Tastosis voice pack, which is very unlikely, but if you don't have an In Control voice pack, which could definitely be the case,
certainly more likely,
get these on the Matcherino page.
Yeah. This is another... Well, go ahead. Sorry, Schamtoo.
But the announcer packs keep going back and forth. Like, they keep swapping.
I'm losing my mind watching this right now.
They has, like, no rhyme or reason to it either.
Well, it's a part of, like, here's the thing. I don't want some dumbass that can't figure it out to buy my voice pack. I need the top-tier human beings. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that's really cool. Always check the Matcherino website out. They are our partner. And it's not like the price is hiked up or anything like that. That is just them getting that product and then selling it there. And then, of course, there's awesome shirts and stuff like that, too. And just keep your eye on it. And the tea is there. So without further ado, that's the sellout moment for now. I need you guys to type in that burger. And if you do that, then Jeff will... My sellout levels will diminish, and we can go back to the content.
Look at me. I'm going to type in...
You're going to do it, too?
Yeah.
Very good.
There.
Oh,
added
$40 already did it there.
$1.
Not bad, guys. Thank you. We just got to do that every week, okay? Now, let's get into the topics. So, the first topic, and we'll go through this pretty quick, is WCS Challenger. We're heading into the finals weekend. We had some results from this previous weekend, and I actually wasn't there. I was visiting family, getting work done on my tattoo and stuff like that, so I didn't get to watch these games. I think the results, and you guys can be like, no, it was a huge upset, but I think it was pretty standard. Let me look at this.
Yeah. NA was definitely as you expect.
True, Jon Snow, Advance, Masson, Semper. Yeah, those are all the favorites.
Absolutely. And as far as Europe goes, scroll and take a look. I actually didn't get to watch it this week. Hero Marine and Mana. Solon DNS losing. Lambo and Nurchio with Clement Rayner. Rayner going 0-4 is a little bit of a surprise.
From Korea, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that's hard to do.
Still out here, but...
well, he's still... No, actually, he was eliminated, so I guess he could have gone back. So don't take my word as final on that, but that's also a tough group for him. Like, Lambo and Nurchio are amazing ZVZ players. I know that we're all on the Rayner hype train, but it's not like him losing to them is, like, the craziest thing in the world. It's just too bad, because both Plant and Rayner went out, so it's like the old guys. Lambo's actually quite young, but Nurchio's, like, I think 47 years old, so it's kind of, it's kind of awesome that he's able to win at that age. But there you go. And this coming weekend will be really fun. It's the finals weekend, so I literally fly out at 7:40. I get there at like 9, and then my call time is 3 a.m. the next morning. That's my favorite weekend.
It sounds like a lot of fun.
It's really fun.
I'm looking forward to watching you be really tired on the camera and make jokes that...
Oh, I get goofier, yeah.
Was Rubby is just shaking his head at.
All the time. They got good at being awkward to my jokes, too, by the way, which only makes me more powerful, but it includes them in
fantastic.
The jokes.
Oh, the zombie grub, like, you go on about the prize pools, and she just goes, what?
What?
Yeah, that was perfect.
That was perfect.
That was the perfect thing to say, too, because you were getting, like... That was like some master level getting confusing.
It was weird. It was weird. And she's awesome. They're doing great. So it'll be a good show. So make sure to tune in. Also, by the way, shout out to all you fucking viewers. Like, WCS Challenger has been getting 20,000 people tuning in or whatever. And that's
sick. That's good
insane.
Views.
Yes.
Wow.
And it doesn't go unnoticed, by the way. Blizzard, every time we do this, the representatives they have there and stuff are like, holy shit, we had no idea that this was going to be this kind of a thing. So
people still watch Starcraft. It's like, we've been trying to tell you this.
So next year, if you're enjoying those kind of shows, I don't know. I don't have the decision, but I can tell you they're impressed. I would be very surprised if they change things up. So next topic is GSL round of 16. We just had Group C play.
Yes, yes, indeed. And I guess since last Pylon show, we also had Group B occur, right?
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So B and C are kind of the ones going over real quick. The Group of Death, of course. Rogue won it. Innovation kind of bombed out, and then Dark lost to Gumiho in their rematch, even though he won the first time through. So Gumiho continues to impress, and obviously Rogue is Rogue.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch most of. I did not watch any of Group C because unfortunately it was at a really late time. And then for Group B, I missed the beginning half, but then I watched the Gumiho versus Dark. That was kind of disappointing. That was weird.
They had a couple weird matches. Those two are pretty creative players, so you get some weird stuff when they advance. But
I do want to say I think it's good for Neeb somehow. And I know it's weird to say, but like Dark is Neeb's kryptonite. Like Neeb doesn't seem to have any way to beat him. But now Neeb's going to play Rogue. Maru gets Gumiho, which is actually, if there was a way for Maru to get tripped up, it would be a TVT with Gumiho.
Yeah.
But Neeb Rogue, I kind of like Neeb's chances. He's the underdog. I'm not going to tell you otherwise, but that's not bad for him, I think. It's okay.
Yeah, and last night, it just barely happened, but Zest ended up winning the group, had a kind of weird series with Leenock and beat him, and then pretty handily dispatched Trap. And then Trap kind of clawed his way through Hero and went up against Leenock, and Leenock was able to take him out in a very close series. There were some very good games last night. Last night was actually a lot of fun. Yeah. Some good PvP action, some good ZVP action. Like Leenock really played a big variety of strategies and builds. Lots of cheese, lots of macro. It was a good night, and Leenock advances to the top 8 for the first time in 6 years.
Wow.
Jeez. And I just want to remind everyone that I did mention that Leenock will be getting top 4 in this tournament in the round of 32. I mentioned this. And I think actually, I look at this, Jeff, I see a road for Leenock to get to that finals. Leenock Rogue, it's not undoable. It's possible.
Well, Stats got to be the favorite Group D, and if he wins, then Leenock faces Stats, and he just tore through a couple of good Protosses there, so not bad.
Yeah, yeah. So there you have it. It's kind of crazy, but Leenock looking good. Group D will be this Saturday, and that's, of course, Stats, Keen, TY, SOS. That's going to be a ridiculously fun group as well.
Very cool.
Okay. Are we ready for the meat and potatoes of the show?
Well, I certainly hope so, because if not, then Jaeyun will not shut up. I'll tell
you. Yes. Okay. That's all our StarCraft 2 talk for today. Well, until the question thing. People ask questions.
There'll be questions.
I want to talk a little bit today because, we get a lot of StarCraft 2 guests on here. StarCraft 2 is, a bit bigger, and the non-Koreans a bit more active and all that. So we get a lot of good in-depth talk about all sorts of things in StarCraft 2. But this is a StarCraft show, not a StarCraft 1 show, not a StarCraft 2 show, a StarCraft show.
That's right.
And I want to talk with you guys because just to kind of introduce what these guys do within StarCraft 1, Jaeyun is a top-end American player, a Zerg player. So it doesn't count as much because he's not Terran, but he's been doing some casting, the NAA team battles that have just started up as well. He's been streaming since September and doing some really nice ones with that. Schamtoo, on the other hand, has been doing a good amount of Brood War streaming and Have At You tournaments that we've covered on the Pylon show quite a bit before. So kind of want to talk a little bit today about like what the state of the non-Korean StarCraft 1 scene is and what could be better, what's wrong, what's right, and that type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's growing. Honestly, I think ever since the new ladder came out, it kind of revitalized the scene in so many ways. I think even just having KSL being streamed on Twitch, I think that was huge because a lot of viewers started coming to StarCraft now. Granted, it's still not great, but it's still a lot better, and you see a lot of streamers still coming out there. I think there's just been a lot of cool like foreigner events these days. I mean, it kind of helps to improve kind of like the competitive environments of StarCraft Remastered, but obviously, until there's like big money in it, people are not going to be super duper motivated, if that makes sense. But then at the same time, I kind of started these like North American team battles, kind of just you know, there's no prize, there's nothing really there, but it's just more for people to I don't know, just kind of have a chance to prove themselves. You know what I mean? Like, and I see people just like practicing for these things, and you know, they kind of just I don't know, they're just like trying to, yeah, just get their names out there. And I think that's what StarCraft needs, because it's like at the end of the day, you need people that just are competitive and they just want to get better just to improve because they just love the game. And hopefully, as we continue to keep doing these events, like, you know, maybe there is going to be like another kind of a Zotac Cup or like another big tournament that will incite that interest, that I'll start getting like the serious players to really start practicing.
The actually, when you mentioned like about the prize money type aspect, you know, I think back, right, and I would say that the StarCraft 1 scene before StarCraft 2 came out for the non-Koreans was very healthy. I think you would agree, Jeff, right? Like, it was pretty active, a lot of people interested. Yeah, there wasn't streams and stuff because they didn't exist, but I almost feel like like with this NA team battle that you're talking about, there's no prize, but people are happily playing it. I'm actually playing the next one, kind of excited about it. I feel like there's a certain health involved in that. Be especially interested what you think, Jeff, on this, because like people just want to play. It doesn't have to be for money, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I think in Jaeyun, stop me if I'm speaking inappropriately on your behalf, but I think what he's talking a little bit about is the call and want, because Brood War is it's just always been a competitive game. Like, it's really not, for some people it is, so I don't mean to speak down to them, but for most people, you're not really looking to just kind of idle and casually just play average games. Like, there's just a starving and hunger for recognition, competition, getting better, escalating. Like, you just want it to go somewhere. So it's not necessarily that it needs a prize pool per se, but I feel like a StarCraft scene / game that doesn't have a feel of like, people are taking us seriously, I'm playing against better players, I'm playing against diverse, better people, and then when I get better and do better, it's recognized and it means something. I think it's really hard to enjoy StarCraft because it is such a punishing game that you feel like after you put in all this work, you need someone to be like, damn, dude, you fucking crushed that tournament. You're really good. You're playing well. Look at your rating.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be prize money. You don't have to say, I won $70,000. You need to be able to say, though, dude, there was 300 fucking people watching me, and they saw me put in my work, and my team needed me in my ace match, and I was the guy they called on, and I did it. But if there's 5 people watching, nobody really cares, and the guy you're going against is 600 MMR lower than you because there's such a mismatch in the team, then you don't feel great. You're just kind of like, whatever. And if that happens week in and week out, I guarantee you it kind of has the effect of what's happening, which is like you get kind of mad, you get defensive about what you're doing in Brood War, and you're kind of waiting for something more to come in. Someone can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's always been my feeling.
I think the biggest problem that exists right now is that because the rest of esports has taken off in a lot of ways, and a lot of other tournaments that like only, you know, get 100 to 200 viewers are for a lot more money than the tournaments that exist in Brood War right now. It's really difficult for a lot of people to want to spend a lot of time getting good at Brood War. It happened when StarCraft Remastered came back, or when StarCraft Remastered was launched. A ton of the European pros came back and were like playing a ton, and then there were just no tournaments that they could make money off of, and they're just like, well, I can't just do this for free, basically. And then they kind of shuffled away.
Yep.
So the difficult spot that I think that Brood War has right now is that there's, you know, when I eventually get around to putting my tournament back on, there's going to be Have At You and STPL, which are like the only two that really make a lot of money. Now, the BSL was good at making pretty decent money for the players who played, but there's just like a lack of money, and I think that still comes down to being one of the things that like a lot of people play for, or is like it's at least some sort of justification to spending a lot of time playing the game and studying and getting ready for it.
Well, it feels like it's the catalyst, right? Like, it's not necessarily a guy winning 150 or 200 bucks and then all of a sudden they're a pro gamer and they can pay for their dinner. It's more people will tune into a tournament if they know that there's a higher stake thing on the line. With more viewers means more prestige. There are players who will not, like, it's actually almost just in the name itself, right? Like, if a tournament is like, we're not paying you and here's a schedule and we have an admin, but, you know, please take it serious. It's kind of like playing Texas No Limit Hold'em for free. Like, you're like, there's no amount of someone being like, take this serious, man.
There's no accountability.
There's a dress code, by the way, and then we'll have drinks at 9, and people are like, well, what's the prize pool? And they're like, oh, it's free. It's $0. You can't say it in the same breath. So the money's nice, but the money gives it a level of notoriety and recognition that then brings the viewers, hopefully, brings more of the people. They take it more serious. And that's always been the feel in StarCraft, right? Like, there's just because I remember back in my Brood War days as well. It was funny because we didn't have $5,000 tournaments every weekend. It was just like that $50 tournament attracted everybody because that $50 tournament was $50 more than all the other tournaments that were just like come out and play.
You walk away with reputation. That's all you need, right? How about $50? $50 sounds way better than reputation right now. Yeah.
I guess I think you're pretty right, Jeff, about like that difference where it is more about people watching and like gaining a little bit of notoriety. Because now I'm thinking to myself, like, why did I agree to play in Jaeyun's show match? Right? It's not for money. Well, I work hard at Brood War, and I'd like to show that I'm good, and I hopefully show that I'm good and have Nyokin and Jaeyun say nice things about my games when I play good, right?
And we felt
people watch. You gotta win.
We felt this at the events as well. Like the adrenaline you get is from the elevated competition, right? Like when I ladder, I almost never get adrenaline, almost at all. If I'm playing a great match, I feel good afterwards. I'm not trying to say otherwise, but like when I did that offline tournament with you guys, and some of those matches, they didn't mean much, obviously, but to me, there's people watching. I'm a proud player. I wanted to win. That meant so much, and I know that it was for Dan too, especially in that first event because I think Dan played in the first one.
Yeah.
And I saw it in you too. I saw our old competitive juices flowing, and that can only be provided by people watching, commentating, and then the money, of course, is another way to do that. But for us, that in that case wasn't the driving factor, but it was that people were watching.
Right.
And that's why I'm excited because there are. And I'm gonna end up being the angsty one. I know it, but there are blocks in StarCraft Remastered. I'm gonna call it Brood War as well. That are making this possible. The ladder is fucking fantastic right now. Whereas for the first year or whatever it was, it really wasn't, which is super frustrating because for us Americans at least, there was tons of connection issues. Like I would get a Korean. It would drop down to turn rate, whatever the hell it was. They'd start yelling at me because I'm ruining the experience for them. And I'd laugh the first like 5 times, but after a while, you get really frustrated. And the unfortunate thing for me, and I know this is going to sound like race complaining, and a little bit of it is, but to go from playing Chaos Launcher, PGT, and stuff like that, Zerg, where you have perfect micro and your lings feel fucking amazing, and you can do Muta Micro, which of course I didn't because it was terrible, but whatever, you can kite hydras, that kind of thing. That was really cool. To now, if you have 24 turn rate or whatever, it's pretty okay, but even then, you can still kind of not quite the same. And then when that fucking Protoss, like 60 speed lots and 4 Archons and 3 Storms just plow through you, you're like, okay, well, I'm stuck in the playstyle of 70 lurkers, stack defenses, sit behind 6 bases. And again, this sounds like race complaining. A little bit of it is, obviously. But my point is, we had a Porsche 911 Turbo in the garage. Now we have like a really nice Volkswagen, which is still a great car. But, it doesn't turn quite the same. It doesn't accelerate quite the same. So it's hard for me as a guy that played 10 years of that to go to this. It's hard.
Right. No, I totally agree as like a Zerg player too. I mean, one of the reasons why a lot of my strategies, like, for example, against Terran, I'll go lurkers a lot, and that's because I don't get to practice 3-hatch mutas because I'm on like turn rate 12, and then I don't know, when I like practice muta micro by myself on single player, it's like you practice it on a certain turn rate, and then it changes from like 16, and then right when you get mutas, I'm like okay, and then it changes to 10. I'm like damn it, like it's just like, I mean, you ever play like a Protoss, like it starts off at like turn rate 16 or 20, and then like you scout like a double 9 gate in the center of the map, and then all of a sudden it becomes like turn rate 8. I'm like, I swear some of these people are doing this on purpose. I just like
feels that way for sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I would say one thing on top of just like the ladder. I mean, it's a lot better now, but I think one weird thing, and I'm not sure if it's like confirmed or something like that, but the The games that I play, at least where I live, well, let me back up. Let's talk about like the old ladder. I kind of quit ladder for like 6 months before the new one came out because I don't know, like 3 or 4 months because when I play, especially during my time, and I'm on Western America, there's like 3 people on ladder.
Yeah.
At my MMR, and then the only way to get games is I make a Smurf, but then I make a Smurf, but then like okay, that's not always that fun, or other people start like it's just like not a great experience, and then it's hard for me to even have that competition outside of organized events without the ladder. And then I think that was one thing that really bummed out a lot of people, where like the 3 people I'd play on ladder at that time at that MMR, it's like the people I see all the time, and I don't really want to play against them because there's no like diversity in strategy or like things like that.
And to your point, and this for me is one of the most frustrating points about this, and I'm gonna call out some things, and it's, of course, I'm gonna get the email later where they're like, hey, let's talk about this. It's not nice. I say this out of love because I fucking love StarCraft so much, but StarCraft Remastered was not given the love it should have been given, and I'm sorry. There's nobody else to call out but a couple of the big dogs in the scene. But like, Team Liquid should have had a big tournament. This is like the baby that got them where they are, and I know they have love for StarCraft, and it's not to be questioned. But like, that was one of the big players in the scene that should have capitalized on StarCraft Remastered, and people.
Why wasn't there a TSL? I'm really surprised. I thought for sure there would be a TSL.
They held some opens. They were called like the TL opens for like 2 or 3 months, but it was like
it
was basically a replica of like Have At You, and that's why I basically stopped Have At You for a couple of months because.
That's not what I'm talking about, though. They did some stuff. If you guys want to be internet sleuths and look this up, they did art and graphics and production for the old TSL terms that were way ahead of their time, and it made some of these guys, myself included, will be talking about it for the rest of our fucking lives. It was so cool, and it was the
subway opener where everybody's like faces were on like subway cars or whatever.
Yeah, it was for a time and a scene where nobody was doing that. So that's why this rant is a little bit like, it's unfortunate because I have nothing but love and respect for what they did. But unfortunately, the empty space of that love and respect when the game came back around and people were like, hey, look, there's fresh eyes on this. We have another chance. And they were just like, sorry, we're making Dota content and we're way into our CSGO team. And, StarCraft is not going to get the kind of views it would. And then that leads me to my second big complaint. And you guys have heard me say this before, but we did events with Day 9, Tasteless, Artosis, myself. And they had 30,000, 35, 40,000 people watching, like 20,000 concurrent. That's not mind-blowing 100,000, esports is here numbers, but it's fucking good enough. And I mean, it's really good. Like, if you want to know how cheap those events were, I can't tell you, obviously, but they were pretty dirt cheap. And when I hear Jaeyun say, like, I didn't have motivation to play more, that's not just his story. That's the story of a lot of people. Now, you put a TSL in that scene where they're like, Jesus Christ. And by the way, the TSL is not going to have $50,000 prize pool. It could. That'd be awesome, but it doesn't need to. It's a 10, 15, whatever.
Dude, if it had a $5,000 prize pool, the prestige of having another TSL, like, that's a legendary tournament. Look at the people who won that.
People would come out of the woodwork.
It's like...
I'd have Chill commentate it. I'd have Frozen fucking Arbiter make an appearance. I would have... Rhett would train up to Wazoo for it. Sen would come out of retirement for it. Like, it'd be so cool. And then those guys are on ladder, and then Jaeyun's beating them on stream and making his name getting notoriety, excuse me. Mm-hmm. And then the other people are flocking to this, and that's actually how it starts. StarCraft, and by the way, this is a little bit of a herald for things to come with StarCraft 2. If you don't have tournaments, if you don't have something to play for, there are other games that'll have a casual audience that will fill up your game and they'll keep playing it. StarCraft is not really one of those. Of course, there's going to be people that play. And right now they're like, Jeff, Jesus, I've been playing Bunker Rush. I know. Listen, you guys do exist, but the scene as we know it needs tournaments on the horizon. It needs competition. It needs something for you to play for. Because when the fucking guy named Finkelbottom can rushes you for the 70th time and is just typing in like, dumbass, bitch, I hate you, fuck you. Oops, Cobra, I hit the spacebar apparently. Sorry, I ruined their scene. you begin to be like, what am I doing? You know, like, why am I playing? You need something.
I mean, that's one thing that I kind of learned when I first started having throwing my tournaments. It was $100 tournament every 2 weeks, and in like StarCraft 2, that's nothing. That's like there's 1,000 of those that happened every week, or at least for a while. I don't know about now. And most other scenes, they have like small $100 tournaments all the time. The scene was so incredibly dry of any money that people were taking my tournament really seriously, and it actually caught me completely off guard. Like, people were getting like super upset about small little things, and I'm like, what is going? Why do you guys people care so much? It's only $100.
It was important.
It's just there was literally no other money in the scene. It was the only tournament that was going on, and I was just like, wow, this. It feels bad that StarCraft Brood War has gotten into this state. Luckily now there's a couple more tournaments going on, and like BSL and STPL are really great for like kind of spreading out that kind of like lust for money. But
and the thing
it's really upsetting that there hasn't been a lot more just kind of like big take on getting into.
And it's non-Korean too, right? By the way, because the funny thing is in Korea it's kicking ass. Like StarCraft is doing super well. So I hear ourselves, and I apologize to the listeners and viewers, and I'm to blame for this, but I don't mean for this to have such a negative and angry tone to it. For me personally, that's the first emotion that kind of rushes up. Is I would love that the Pylon show is 50-50 StarCraft Remastered and StarCraft 2, but the honest answer is, when we come to like topics and stuff, we're like, well, we can talk about that same weekly tournament and the same 4 guys that are literally the top 4 every time. And then we talk about the KSL, which is really great, but that's it. Like that's what we have to talk about.
Well, okay, so I got a couple things to say about this, because first off, you're completely right. Like, there needs to be something on the horizon. The entire scene in StarCraft 1 for the foreigners, the non-Koreans, for so many years was based off of only WCG, and not every country would get announced, and it would be heartbreaking for our friends from certain countries that suddenly didn't get one year, and everyone would go petition and be like, guys, Slovakia needs a WCG spot. Like, really, right? And just that one tournament kept all of us playing every year. All of us. One tournament. And I feel like everyone's such a hypocrite and a coward within esports right now, right? Because, and I'm sorry to be so harsh, but like every game that's released for like 6 years or 7 years, esport, tournaments, let's do it. And then Brood War comes out. Nothing. Zero, right? And the thing is, there's precedent here. Like you said, Jeff, those events that we did, me, you, Day9, Tasteless, other pros coming in, old names, new names, they got insane views, right? There's a ton of personality amongst players in Brood War. Like we've been talking about here with Jaeyun and stuff, where it's like, you don't even need the money. It's more about proving yourself. You're trying hard and all this, right? I look at this and I see so many similarities to the revival of Smash Melee, right? And I look at it and I'm like, this can be done with Brood War. This can be done. People like to see us talk, Jeff, you and I, and Nick and Sean. We were all good players. We'd all love for stuff to happen and to go do these things. Like, where is everything? It's crazy. Well, I mean,
when it comes to Smash Melee, though, that's an interesting situation, because that was all grassroots stuff that built up into tournaments, and they had just been running tournaments like silently in the corner for years and years and years. Brood War, most of the tournaments just went away over the dark periods, when StarCraft 2 came around. So like I'd like to be like, Blizzard, help me, but then I'm like, but if we were to like try and associate ourselves with what happened with Melee, then we wouldn't even need Blizzard's help here.
What I'm trying to say basically, right, is that, and the thing is, they came up at a very specific time and proved some viewership numbers and things like this to build up in this way. But now you see Smash tournaments being held, all the time, all over the place. The thing is, what I'm trying to draw here is, this is an old, mechanically demanding game that everyone's played and everyone appreciates. full of lots of great personalities that are good at the game and stuff. There's a lot there, right? Yeah. The thing is, StarCraft 1 got super cannibalized. Like, every top player switched over to StarCraft 2 when it came out for the non-Korean scene. So it destroyed it, and we had to get a whole new clutch, and some people came back and whatever. But I don't know. I look at this, and there's like so much insane potential. And this other thing I gotta mention. I'm sorry I'm ranting so much right now, but the amount of times that I've had people tell me that non-Koreans don't like StarCraft 1 is crazy. It's crazy, okay? Like, Nick and I talked to Afrika for like a year trying to get them to let us do some of their Brood War content for the English viewers. The very first time that we did it, 17K concurrent viewers. I'm like, oh, look at that. I guess non-Koreans do like to watch us. And like, we just started KSL. We're hitting over 11,000 concurrents every night, right? Viewership isn't everything, but like, people do want to watch this game.
Right. Yeah. And it's growing viewership too, because I remember like KSL first couple of days was like 10, 11, and now it's like 14, 15 the past couple of days. It's not like it's like some stagnant number that's been staying over the past couple of weeks. It's been going up and up and up.
Yep. And those numbers are savagely bad times for Europeans and Americans too.
Yeah.
And still they do well. Like it's amazing. Yeah. And I know this took the ranty tone too, and I apologize to those guys because here's the other thing too that's cool is that Schamtoo is putting on tournaments, and those tournaments are really cool. And Jaeyun is a top American player who did stick out with Brood War for years. You know, that was kind of my ignorant moments when we came back. I was like, Jaeyun, who's that? And he's like, well, he's been playing Brood War for years while you were off in StarCraft 2 land. I was like, okay, pretty cool. And there is this like dragon. There's these cool players that popped up and are legitimately good. I was really blown away by his skill at Zotac. It's fun to watch. My want and desire, and there is still time, and this is the recalibration that has to happen, though, by the way. You're not going to ever host a Brood War tournament that's going to have 100,000 eyes outside of Korea. You just aren't. And that's okay. Like, God damn it, I want to shake all the rich, fucking, probably white, stupid-ass sponsor people that are just like, is it Fortnite? Nah, okay, never mind. No, come back. Listen, 30,000 in the age bracket, like a Brood War viewer is 25 to 35, if not older, for fuck's sakes. They have jobs, they have money, and they have passion for this game. And in the RTS scene, it's down to StarCraft Remastered, StarCraft 2, and Warcraft 3 in China. That's it. Like, those are your RTSs. So you got people that want this content, know they're not going to fill up Key Arena, and they're not going to have a $24 million prize pool, but they're going to have 30,000, and if you build it, 40, 50,000. It is possible, by the way, and it doesn't have to be expensive, and you're going to have this game. And here's the thing that haunts me, and I'm going to be so sad if this never gets like capitalized on, but every time I see Brood War content, and I look at the comments, and I look at what people are saying, they're like, hey, I haven't seen this shit in years. I don't know what's going on, but it's really fun to watch, and oh my god, that was cool. I hear that all the time. Like, Brood War is in the same situation as Melee, which is really weird, where it's this old fucking game that is still entertaining as fuck to watch even now. Right. And that's not true with everything, by the way. And if you're like, Jeff, of course it is. Go play GoldenEye right now on your Nintendo 64.
GoldenEye.
I have put... That was a game I played 6-7 hours a day, guys. I played it more than Brood War. I went back and played it a little while ago because I was a god at that game, and I was like, oh, I'll fucking play it again. You fucking take a knee and float across the floor, and to aim up, you have to, like, it's inverted and shit, so it was the worst, okay? Brood War is hard, and we love it for that, but it is so smooth and awesome and still fun to watch for even people that don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I mean, about your age bracket item, God, I'm going to keep talking about Have At You.
No, please do.
One of the things about I've been doing with Matcherino is, I open up my tournaments to Matcherino. These are, like, this is one of the things that I've been trying to, like, build into, like, a slide deck. So I'm like, hey, somebody, like, sponsor me. Every single tournament, I've been getting at least $100 donated for my bi-weeklies. Some of the some days, I've been getting upwards of $300 donated from just people just watching just a bi-weekly. So this is like an age bracket that, sponsors, if you're listening, are a bunch of people who want to spend a lot of money for things that they like.
Yep.
So, if you're like someone who has really cool stuff, that might be good for Brood War players. It's really interesting because, Melee and Brood War, actually, one of the things that I like to draw the parallel between them is, I think when people watch Melee, though, they look at it and they're like, oh, it's exactly like how me and my friends used to play back in college. And then you go and play Melee and you're like, how are they doing the things that they do? They're playing so fast. And Brood War, it's a lot more on the surface. I don't know how these players are playing with like 400 APM and all this stuff. Like, I could never play like that. I played UMS maps, which might be the thing that like kind of intimidates people a little bit more, which is why they don't like jump into the game. Especially when you actually go and play Brood War and you realize how incredibly hard the game is.
Right.
This is like one of the weird things that I've always kind of been like, okay, I can see why not everybody jumps back into Brood War, but like Melee is a little bit of an easier thing to consume. But I don't know, people still watch a ton of Brood War. I do. So hopefully it can get back into somewhat around like 30,000, I'm hoping, viewership at some point.
Yeah, actually, something I've noticed with Brood War that I have a little bit of a hard time with, that I think is a little bit of a problem in the scene right now, is our hub used to be Team Liquid. Yeah. And it is still actually the hub for Brood War, but it's not as good as it used to be. It's turned a little bit weird for the Brood War section. Like, it's still got the most news. Barely anything gets onto Starcraft Reddit. The Brood War Reddit is dead as
non-existent.
Yeah, right. So it's like we get a lot of viewers for these tournaments and stuff, but not a lot of people really use Team Liquid for communicating.
Yeah.
There is that Foreigner Brood War Discord that I've tried to talk about occasionally, which is pretty good. But yeah, just overall, it feels like there's no real, no very big sense of community. Maybe like within stream chats or something like that for a tournament, you get a little bit more. But yeah, it's just I feel like StarCraft 2 is centralized, right? Team Liquid's used a little bit, Reddit's used a ton, Twitter's used a ton. For Brood War, it's kind of like, well, we're kind of in a Discord and kind of on Team Liquid.
Yeah, I think the community part's probably like a tough aspect. I mean, even for like the newer players too. I mean, Discord's great and all. I mean, I'm kind of in and I don't really participate too much, but I would say like, yeah, I think Team Liquid there should be a place where everyone can kind of just congregate together. And honestly, I think it'll be like, I personally think that if the actual BattleNet channels were a little bit better organized, like for example, I was talking to like TT1 the other day where like, it'd be nice if you just had like rank channels or something. I don't know, like channels where people go and just ask, like play some 2-on-2s or like get some practice games in. But there's just like, there's no, I don't know. Like I have friends who used to play the game that, they're not on Discord or something like that. They come on, they just have no friends that are online and they just feel lonely. They just like ladder and they're like, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. They're not good enough to like join a tournament. But so there are a lot of people like that where, I think they do kind of want that sense of community. And StarCraft is a game where, like you guys said, it's a really hard game, but it's also very rewarding. And it kind of goes back to like that, you guys were saying like, even for like the top players, like, yeah, we want to be recognized, we want to be rewarded. And even in like the smaller sense too, like just having 2 or 3 friends, like improving or pulling off a sick play. And it's like, oh, that was cool. Like, I think that is a huge part of it too. I think it can be improved. I don't know exactly how, but I would say the community is a little disjointed. I think all the top people kind of know each other, but I'm talking about all the people who are getting into and all the people kind of like trying to improve too.
And we used to have giant gathering channels. Like, can you get a bot onto the current BattleNet? Because it would be like you'd go to like Optot or
X17,
Clans X17. Yeah, and there was just like several channels that if you were really into Foreigner Brood War, this is where you went, right? When you're on BattleNet, it's like, and the next step in your friendship with someone would be getting their MSN or X17. Yeah, but that was like kind of where you would congregate quite a bit because people played a lot because there was no VODs to even watch back then. But I think that would be a cool thing to do, is to make some channels that people actually go to.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there are some channels out there, like, you know, I'm part of a couple, but I mean, they're more or less just like friend channels. You know what I mean? Like if you're part of this circle, and then some people come in randomly, but there isn't like a, well, I don't want to say a Clan X17. I mean, just like other other channels out there. And what's different about this day is that there is Discord, right? There is, which is good in many ways. But back then, like, I used to sign on Starcraft when I came home from school because my friends were there. That was my social media platform. Whereas here, you can just chill on Discord, and then you could just like, you don't have to be on Starcraft. You don't have to be playing the game.
I agree with everything you guys are saying, but it's actually almost like a symptom of the changing of the times that make it challenging, right? Like, Brood War channels were where you used to go. That was just what you did. Nobody had a Discord. Skype wasn't even a thing back then. You had like Ventrilo, where your friends were in there, or MSN, some of that kind of stuff. But now everything is so decentralized, right? Like even Discord, which is kicking ass and it's a really awesome big thing. There's still people who are like, no, I don't do Discord. Like I'm on Skype. And that's just what I do, or whatever. But I don't blame Blizzard for that. We talked about that in StarCraft 2 times, because that was before I think people got decentralized with where they go. I do think there obviously would be a benefit for a bigger community that way, but I think for me a lot of that goes to what Dan was saying too, which is like, if they were to try to organize a place where it's like, hey, are you new to StarCraft? Go to this place. This is where people are. And then you'd actually have to like funnel energy into that. You'd have to coordinate producers of content or people that are like interested in helping those people out, and you have to populate that place. You can't just make the channel and then what'll happen is the 5 or 6 people pop in there, see nothing's happening, pop out, never again will they ever go back. So it would take a community manager, it would take effort, and it would take work, and then it would take the willingness to commit resources. And I'm not just talking about manpower. I mean, like, the StarCraft Twitter would have to talk about it. The StarCraft 2 launcher would have to talk about it. You could send out that email that goes out to everyone every time Overwatch takes a shit on anything, and we all get to read that, and we're like, oh, cool. That kind of stuff, that kind of resource. And I feel like, without knowing, by the way, it's just my opinion and my experience, it feels like nobody at Blizzard or elsewhere was willing to take up StarCraft Remastered and be like, no, this thing's amazing. I'm gonna really back it and drive this up. Like, nobody did. And I get a lot of angst every time we did our events from just kind of angry StarCraft Remastered viewers, and I get it. Like, I understand, because they're kind of the forgotten people. Like, this game that they love so much. And I even get the angst towards like people like me and stuff that moved on to StarCraft 2. I understand. I'm just saying that it's really frustrating because this second wave, this like resurgence, which is this new thing, right? Like, people are remastering games and they're actually quite popular and doing well. It happened, but for StarCraft Remastered, Team Liquid, Blizzard, nobody really picked it up and said, let's really get behind this. And to be fair, by the way, Blizzard kind of did, so I don't want to make it sound like they're this evil monster. They did put on some cool events, and we really appreciate that. And you know, it was fun, and they did it right. I'm just asking for more, which makes me sound petulant. I get it, but I do want more. You know.
Well, I mean, let's put it this way: how many people know about the SE Remastered Pro Series that's going on right now, and how many people are actually following it? Because that's technically sponsored by Blizzard for the foreigner scene, and it's like a $1,500 prize pool over, like, you know, I think it's 60 some days now, or 30 some days.
That's sponsored by Blizzard? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's sponsored by Blizzard. And like, I see nothing about it. I keep forgetting about it. I keep forgetting about it. I'm only following one goddamn game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Something like that should probably hit the launcher more often or something, because I see that launcher every day. You know, and but this is part of the problem, that we don't have a centralized location for Brood War as well, I think, because once upon a time there might be a website and I go there and they're like, oh, here there's some little article or a little news post on the results, and it's I mean, I scour those Brood War forums trying to get this news, but it's a little bit, everything's so disparate.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the other problem with like going to the centralized idea, and we say Reddit, is that any single time that Brood War comes up on Reddit, oh my god, it's like there's 30,000 StarCraft 2 people being like, I don't see why this content's up here. I hate Brood War. Brood War's a dead game. Think about that. And then you have a whole bunch of Brood War people being like, your game's stupid, and everything I care about is dumb. And it's just like, because it always becomes like some sort of giant SC2 versus SC Brood War like fight. So like Brood War people don't really want to post on like the Starcraft Reddit. I don't know where to post stuff really, except for Team Liquid, and that's like the worst part.
Yeah.
I don't know how to promote like other like content or anything.
Yeah, it is a little bit difficult, like between the Discord and Team Liquid, and then your Twitter account. It's like, well, I mean, we don't have a great answer because StarCraft Reddit's done really well for StarCraft 2, I think, overall.
Yeah.
Like it's not a great place to store information long term, but we have Liquipedia for that. And then in Brood War, it's like even the Wikipedia is updated very, very slowly compared to StarCraft 2, which is fine. StarCraft 2 is a bit bigger in the foreign scene for sure. But yeah, I guess I don't have that many answers. Mostly just complaints and sadness.
Well, I mean, like this is the thing where you have to discuss what's wrong to figure out what the solution should be.
Yeah.
I honestly think a lot more Brood War people should be getting on Twitter. I think it would be a really healthy way for like all of the people who have been on Twitter for different scenes to be able to cross promote a lot more. But there's like no Brood War people on Twitter. I mean, and the people that are on Twitter like barely use it. I don't know. Right. I think there's a lot of things that we could do just to solve the issues, but it requires a lot of like congregated thinking, and we don't really have a congregation point to really do that.
Well, there is a thread on Team Liquid for the Pylon show, so if you're listening and you're an avid Brood War fan, please let us know what you think and post in the comments there. And then, of course, this will be up on ArtosisTV on YouTube, and I always read those comments. God help me. But
I don't know why you do it.
I do. Every time.
Oh my God. When I was in Korea, I was reading your comments to the the threads. It was awesome. It was a lot of entertainment.
I was born a troll, man. I still have to like walk my fields and my pastures, and I have to feed them basically. But anyways, my point is keep the discussion going. Let us know. Dan and I are super passionate Brood War people. We'll keep doing what we can. And the nice thing about this, and if Melee taught us anything, it's like it's almost never too late, man. Like it could happen still, and it still can happen. It's not dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know I've been like complaining about a lot of things, but I the way that I see it is, I think there's a lot of opportunity in Brood War. Like you guys said, when you have these big events, there's a lot of viewers, and like it's an entertaining game, and there's things that can be improved, but at the same time, I'm pretty happy about the new ladder. Actually, I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, like one thing what's weird is that I actually never match against Europeans. I either get North Americans or get all Koreans. And then when you move up the MMR ranks, then it's basically all Koreans, which is great. I get to practice against them, but overall, I mean, it's been pretty awesome. I think it's kind of generated a lot of new hype. I've been really pleased with the experience despite all the complaints, and I think just like I definitely do think there is room for growth. I mean, like even doing these team battles or kind of organizing like the continent battles, like North America versus Europe that we did like a month ago. Now we're also organizing like a North America versus South America thing, and those kinds of things are awesome because now we're kind of rallying up the North American troops, and we're like, yeah, we do want to beat Europe, or we do want to beat South America. We kind of have like these, informal battles where we kind of like incite that interest, because I think within North America, it does get kind of dry at the higher levels. I mean, a lot of us do play, but a lot of us already know that, like, there's people out there that, they could take a break for 2 months, but they know that if they just practice for 3 weeks, if for a big tournament, they'll be back in the running. You know what I mean? So there's like no crazy incentive for them to like continuously get better. But at the same time, even just having, but I don't know. I mean, it's been great. I mean, I think the foreign Brood War scene has been it's been growing. I can't say it's thriving. I can't say that, from a numbers perspective, we're hitting anything like StarCraft 2, but it's been growing, and I think there's definitely promise and opportunity there.
I mean, Python was commenting on the CPL because I was talking to him last night, and he was just like, "How did I get 3 pages of signups in like 4 hours or something like that?" He was just like, he was stunned at the amount of people that signed up for CPL already. And he's like, and I'm keeping this thread open for 2 weeks. And I'm like, yeah, good luck, buddy. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But I think especially with the new ladder. I agree. Like I think there's a lot of people coming back. It was getting really desperate right before the new ladder hit.
It was
like MMR was shrinking ridiculously, and the windows were getting really like drastic. But I think now it's in a really good spot. Like when I play, I generally get a lot of people who are actually around my level, except for when you know Jaeyun is smurfing.
Well,
oops.
But it's doing well.
Well, like I said, keep the discussion going, guys, and we'll, of course, keep talking about Brood War. In fact, even in this next topic, we'll be talking about the KSL Round of 8. Begins.
KSL.
Nice.
Yeah, it begins tonight, actually. I'm going to be going up through a hurricane to Cassis, apparently. But we have our Round of 8 for KSL. Oh, that's a great discussion, guys. Thank you for that. But I don't know if you guys have been watching KSL, but it's looking pretty sick right now. We have on one side of the bracket Rain versus Best and Snow versus Jaedong. That's 3 Protosses and Jaedong on one side. That's a little bit exciting for me. On the other side, Sulky versus Sharp and Harangi versus Last.
Well, rip Jaedong.
Think so?
Really?
What?
Really?
Jaedong is going to eat Snow. It's not
Snow,
gonna be
sure,
close.
but Rain is going
Rain's
to
pretty
just
good.
walk over Jaedong.
Yeah.
Rain's going to walk over Best. Rain's going to go to the finals.
Now, you know how there's like this kind of like small meme about StarCraft 1 elitists or something that come into like a StarCraft 2 chat and like talk about, oh, you know, StarCraft 1's the game. I think the finals of KSL is going to be Rain versus Sulky, two StarCraft 2 champions. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure they're the best 2 players in the tournament, so I'm just throwing that out there.
Can we just shout out to Rain, like, has been playing StarCraft 2 for so long, all of a sudden just swaps to StarCraft Brood War, happens to be, like, the second best, like, Brood War player recently.
It's wild.
And won ASL 5.
Yeah.
He's all right.
It makes sense. He was my favorite StarCraft 2 player when he played StarCraft 2. His Protoss was just like, God, he does it in Brood War too. It's so fun. He's just like observer control, just like I just see you. What are you doing? Okay, I'll just do it better now. And you're like, like the whole time. And towards the end of his StarCraft 2 career, he started to actually mix in timings, and his results got a little bit more sporadic, but it made him a scarier opponent, I think, because he could default to a safe play style, and that was just really tough to deal with. But then also you could be like, well, he's gonna play safe, so I'm gonna be aggressive, and then that's when this like fucking crazy 2-base all-in shows up. But it's fun. He actually, one of my favorite things, I watch a lot of Brood War streams, he's one of the guys, god damn, he trains with everybody. Every Zerg, every stream I turn on, I'm like, who are they playing? And the chat's just like, Rain. It's a different name every time, but it's Rain. He's just out there training with these, I mean, I'm sure now he's practicing PvP, but I see him in all the streams. It's really cool. Game after game.
Well, he's looking good, man. But it's a pretty sick bracket though, because I look at this, guys, and there's a non-zero chance that Jaedong wins KSL. I just want to say how
possible, yeah.
Like him versus Sulky in the finals, he can do it. He can
if he gets Sulky in the finals, yeah, but that's only because Sulky sucks.
Well, Sulky's already in the finals, guys. Look at that side of the bracket.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. There's no issue here.
Well, I think if Last can like turn, I mean, for some reason, I just feel like Last can't perform in these. I mean, you know, he's had some good victories, but like he's super solid off, you know, online. But these
Sulky,
yeah, but I really expect Sulky to advance. But I'm really interested in that top bracket too. I really do hope that Jaedong can take down Snow, so we can see another epic ZVP. And I don't know what his like health is like. Like sometimes when I watch that series versus Flight, I mean, I was super hyped. Like I haven't been hyped like after a win for like the Zerg race for a long time. And I don't know. It's like, does he actually get tired, like his eyes during a game? Like I remember, you know how they had that what was it, that Bisu versus Jaedong thing at that Blizzard event?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. It's like sometimes I look at his eyes and like they're just watering up. It just looked like he wanted to just not be there and just like ling all in like 2 or 3 times. Like, is that actually something? I don't know if you know more, Artosis.
I haven't talked to him about that, but it seems like he was going through a hard time. He was announcing his retirement there and stuff, and then Beeson wrecked him. And
Yeah.
I mean, here he is in the round of 8, and
Yeah.
seems like a bit of a resurgence. So
He also just qualified for ASL as well. So I mean, he's
which is our next topic. Let's go into it. ASL Season 6. The qualifiers just finished. I actually went to 2 of them. It was really fun.
You got a video?
And I didn't do it for the money. Yeah, I put a video on my YouTube if you guys want to see the replays that I go over. I saved all my replays, but I traveled to Gwangju and to Busan, and it goes back to what we were talking about before. It cost me like $300 to go down and travel and stay in hotels and go on trains and stuff, but and I knew I wasn't going to any money. I knew I wasn't going to qualify, but it was fun to go down and just have something to train for and try it out.
You're a Warhammer player now, Dan.
Yeah, or a Brood War player once again.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyways, the qualifiers are done. We did have our seeds in with Rain, Snow, and Mini, and we had the wild card match to replace Hero, who had to go to the military for his service. He did announce that he will be back to Brood War after his service, so that's great to have that Zerg player back. But Flash won that over Shuttle and Mind. Kind of the interesting thing is that Larva refused to play in that wild card and didn't play in the qualifiers. And Larva's level is such that he just gets in if he plays. Will win one of the qualifier tournaments. He's that good.
Yeah, there was rumor about that before this all started going on, and that was just because he said that he didn't want to deal with the stress of ASL, right?
That's what I heard as a rumor, but I haven't seen him in a while. I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But Larva did not try out, so that's kind of wild. Looking at who did try out though, for our qualified list, first off, the racial distribution is insane. 9 Protoss, 9 Terran, 10 Zerg.
That is the coolest thing. Was the first qualifier in Seoul, only 1 Protoss out of 5 Terrans and 6 Zergs got through, but after the other 2 qualifiers, it's still evened out to be 9, 9, 10.
Yeah, that happened last time with Terran, where the first 2 qualifiers, no Terrans won, except for Flash already had a seed, so there was maybe 1 Terran got through, and then the last qualifier 4 Terrans got through, and it's oh, thank God. Under the wire. But
I think it's a great time for Protoss,
yeah.
A lot. I mean, Terrans, Terrans are, like you said, I think last, maybe ASL 4, I forget which one, but there was a point where it was the time of the Zergs. I mean, there's a few month period where just especially with Larva around, Heroes doing really well, obviously Soul Key. But now I just feel man, these Protoss are they're rolling. I mean, I just feel they just play with so much confidence. They have all these really crazy aggressive builds. I mean, especially like at PvT, they use all these speed shuttles. I mean, they get really creative with that stuff. And I actually just watched earlier today or yesterday, Mini 5-0'd Flash. I'm what? He was, and I was watching him. He was just messing around. He's not going to do that probably in a real tournament, but I think just the confidence level of Protoss has just been increasing, and I think that makes a huge difference. Just that mental game, knowing that you can beat these players, kind of breaking down, all that stuff. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy, the resurgence of Protoss overall, and it's probably the strongest time Protoss has ever had in the 20 years of Brood War right now, I think.
Yeah.
I've been cool. So for KSL, I was kind of thinking that was happening just because there was just such a lack of Zergs. There was only 3 Zergs that got through to the round of 16. And I typically, I don't know, maybe it's just the way that I look at things. I typically think that Zergs keep Protosses in check, Protoss keeps Terran in check, and Terran keeps Zerg in check. But now I don't know, and my theory seems to be thrown out of a loop because there's 10 Zergs in ASL 6.
Well,
and I look at these names and I'm these are actually all pretty good names.
I think that part of it is the map pool too, because you always see the map pools change based on what race is doing well or poorly. And as soon as I saw Blue Storm as the first map, I was oh, the Protoss are doing too well lately. They need the Zergs to come through. That was exactly what I looked at right there. But a cool thing about the ASL qualifier is the ACS occurred recently. It's the Africa TV Challenge Star League or something like that. ACS, I don't know, whatever it stands for. It's an amateur league at Africa, right? And they had 4 qualifiers around the country. Those 4 players that won the qualifiers got coached by pro gamers and then played a tournament on Africa. And the winner, who of course was coached by Flash, and the runner-up, a Zerg player. So a Terran and a Zerg, from that tournament, both qualified for ASL.
Wow.
These are non-KESPA pros. These are people who've never been pros before, never been in a pro tournament before. And here they are, which is really cool.
Is that Buell and Yerim too?
Yes.
I was about to say, I have no idea who they are, but I guess
it's okay because neither does Wikipedia.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. It's really cool to show that a lot of skills still growing in Korea. So yeah, the ASL, ASL Season 6 starts September 2nd. And of course, Tasteless and I will be casting that, so tune in. And I think that's all of our main topics. Look at that.
As always, guys, just a reminder, like I said, there's a thread on Team Liquid you can post there. I always appreciate it. I mean, we always appreciate when we see someone make a thread on Reddit for the show, and I always check the comments there as well. We ourselves can't make that thread because there's some rule about not promoting your own content or whatever.
Yeah, God forbid, right?
And then on YouTube, I read all the comments there. So if you're hearing this, you're enjoying it, and you're wondering where to keep it going, of course, the Discord is another place. There's a lively discussion in there all the time. With that being said, speaking of Discord, let's take it over to the questions in the Discord.
Yeah.
And there are some good ones, by the way. I am loving that for whatever reason, there is a growing... I'll take it, Cobra. Thank you. There's a growing culture of questions about sentient food. And I'll tell you what, guys. We will have Rotterdam on the show. And if we don't spend at least 2.5 hours asking him about various different foods and their interactions should they come to life, I'll be extremely fucking disappointed, all right?
It's up to you guys to put those questions in there.
It's up to you guys. Okay, so we're going to do some questions here. Stay sharp, Schamtoo and Jaeyun, because some of these could bounce back and hit you right in the face. And we got a lively audience here, so let me take a look here. I believe I'm at the top. Okay. Cake Machine asks, proper question. If you could assimilate one professional StarCraft 2 player's abilities and skill set for the following, or for playing the game, whose would it be and why? No so proper question. Do parrots need to practice the human words they speak, or do they just nail it the first time? Skews a British squirk boy, then. So first question, guys, if you could take the powers of some professional player, what part of them would it be and why?
Dark.
Just all of it? You take all of Dark?
All of Dark. Dark's ability to counter with Zergling. That is like my favorite thing to watch Dark do.
Dark, the StarCraft 2 player, Schamtoo?
Yeah. Yeah. So it was a StarCraft 2 question, right? I thought it was a it was just StarCraft in general.
It does say StarCraft 2. You're right.
Yeah, well, I was listening.
See, now,
I hope so, man.
As a Brood War guy, I would have read that just as a Brood War guy. I would have been like, fuck StarCraft 2, man, I hate that game. I'd be like, the answer is Rain. Right, Flash. Okay, Dan, what part of Flash would you take?
Yes.
What part?
Yeah, that's what the question is.
How
you can assimilate one professional StarCraft 2 player's abilities and skill set for playing the game. Whose would it be and why? Well, I guess
okay, well, if it's... Yeah, that's what I think. But, well, if it's StarCraft 1, it's just like his SCVs. The production, the movement. He's the best with workers in the world, so that's what I would do.
Someone's offering you the power of the world, and you take his ability to control SCVs?
Dude, SCVs are broken.
100%.
SCVs are broken.
But that includes
your SCVs perfectly.
The SCVs and sending them to mine, getting them to build buildings, getting them out of your mineral line. These are the hardest things. Listen, man, I know that you only have 10 drones, okay, and 3 buildings, okay? I know you're never pulling your drones. When you pull your drones to fight, you've already lost the game, Jeff. Not me. I have to pull them all the time, okay?
Dan, I'm so sorry. Whoever wounded you so many years ago, man, it's so...
Well, you're one of the people, actually, so...
Yeah, well, that's fair, you know.
But, okay, so for a StarCraft 2 player...
So it's like, if you could have any food in the world, what would it be? And Dan's like, just a well-cooked Hot Pocket, you know, just like a... just microwaved correctly. It's got the little cardboard thing. It's inside.
Ground banana.
I don't think anybody's ever had, like, a well-cooked Hot Pocket. It could be, like, the most amazing thing ever.
Yeah, it's really hard to do.
My answer is Rogue for StarCraft 2.
All right.
He's the greatest. It's not Mario, it's Rogue. It's been Rogue the whole time.
Jaeyun, you can answer with StarCraft 1. That's okay.
Okay, because I was trying to look for an answer. I mean, I actually watched some StarCraft 2, but I don't know enough. I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm going to go with the Hot Pocket in the sense that one thing I really wished I could do is control my drones really well, like someone like Larva. Because, you know, I mean, especially against like stupid probes or like SCVs, like mess around with you. Like you can do that moving shot micro, and I think that's so sick.
Oh, I can't do that. Yeah, jeez Louise.
I mean, it's insane. And there's times when like I played like off race against like a Korean Zerg, and they actually trail you, so like you can't even like I try to like juke them out like you know, playing like a UMS game like a bound or something, but like they just trail you and like they just hit you and I'm like, how do you do that? Like I don't know.
Dude.
I'll take that. I mean, I'm going with the Hot Pocket answer, but
no, that one makes about 100% more sense than Dan's, because Dan's talking about like
oh my god,
building and going back to the mineral line. But for us Zergs, like a fucking zealot shows up to your mineral line. You watch a Korean, they like they turn into the the Voltron of drones and hit it for like 700 damage, and then fan out and then go back to mining. And I'm like, well, that looks pretty easy. And then I do it, and they're like. And the zealot just like goes to mineral line. I'm like, well, I can never mine from there again. It's just terrible. That's one of the hardest parts about StarCraft 2 to Brood War is in StarCraft 2, the engine's so smart that you grab units, you tell them to go do something, they're gonna do that. When I play Brood War, and I'm like, oh, 3 groups of Hydras, he's got like, I don't know, 3 tanks and 20 Marines, whatever, A move. Back at home, macroing, come back, they're all dead. And they're all, they just like hit a wall and we're like, like while everything's just killing them. But then if you micro that fight, of course you do infinitely better, but it's just such a hard difference between the two games, and of course the answers get good. But thank you for the question. As for the parrot shit, dude, I don't know.
It's a good question though. Do they have to practice? I don't think that they really practice. No.
I don't think the concept of practice is really a thing for an animal like that. I think it just
probably
kind of
not, right?
Mimics and gets better at it over time. Uterroot asks, there's been a lot of interesting discussion recently about machine learning, AIs in StarCraft, including on last week's show when Pig pointed out, last Saturday. This is after the last episode. Was Pig on the last episode? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah.
God damn, time is flying.
Machine has been learning a lot, though.
Obstacles to actually building a high-level StarCraft 2 AI. But challenges aside, do any of you have thoughts on how the introduction of a top-level StarCraft 2 AI would change the scene? If it were as good or better than the best human players, then it would completely reshape the nature of practice and tournament preparation, assuming it was made widely available. Pros could be better served by practicing with the computer so they could keep strategies secret. Also, as players practice with the test, by the way, you called it a computer, it's an AI. And for artificial intelligence communities, you're part of the problem. Thank you. Next question. Also, as players practice with and test strategy against the AI, the metagame itself might start to congeal around its playstyle. Quick side note, by the way, try to keep the questions to 3.5 books. Because I guarantee you none of these guys are following this whole thing. Nobody is. The metagame itself might start to congeal around its playstyle, which would probably be a lot like Serral's. On the positive side, though, it could become a great pedagogical tool.
What's that word mean? I've seen it before.
Now it just makes me feel stupid, but somebody had to do it today. And could even be used by Blizzard to finally calibrate game balance. Hard to say how things would turn out, but do you think overall it would be good for StarCraft?
It would be good for StarCraft. Yes, because it would bring like a lot of attention to StarCraft.
Yeah.
I think that just in general. And as for how it would change the game, obviously I've talked about this before about how it would have to have speed handicaps on it because those are ways that are just unfair. But like for instance, when AlphaGo destroyed, Lee Sewall or whatever in Go, some of the things, it changed a lot of the strategic understanding of the correct ways to play Go. And that's probably what it would do here, because you can't just copy the micro or macro. Like we can imagine amazing micro, right? And just practice and try to get good. But you have to take that out because a machine can do things perfectly and humans can't. But yeah, it might change things and show, like, for instance, like, oh, what you're supposed to do is just consistently put on pressure while expanding or something like that. And it would probably change something in that area for us. Yeah,
good answer. And like I said, it is a great question, but you do have to do your best to understand. You got to cut it down to like 3 sentences, otherwise you're not, because this happened to me too, by the way. I read this question, it gets answered, Dan did his best. Next week the guy's like, you didn't even answer my whole fucking question. Like, if you're not going to do it, then don't even read it. And I'm like, all right, yeah. Anyways, so that's not you, by the way, Uterup. I'm just saying, just keep it. And it turns out pedagogical means learning tools, basically, something to help you learn.
Okay.
So I'm going to steal the shit out of that, and thank you for giving me a pedagogical tool right now. First question in the show. Okay. Critter ND asks, so watching KSL ... and saw the book in the audience that you and Nick saw. Show me the Starcraft. Did you ever find out what book was and where it come from? I have been looking and can't find it.
Yes. I actually forgot to post a picture of it, but the guy gave me a copy. He came up, he actually spoke in English. Look at that. He signed it for me and stuff, and he's so sweet.
Did he write it?
Yes, the guy who wrote this book was in the audience. So this is a brand new book that just came out. Show me the Starcraft.
It's beautiful.
Actually, I took a picture of the guy. I'll post it on my Twitter later after the show, but it looks really cool. It's only in Korean. I asked him if he's going to get it translated. I don't think he is, but here, let me flip to a page. See, apparently the book is about, like, thinking about, like, military stuff and government and stuff through the lens of StarCraft. So,
wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks super interesting. Like, just leafing through, I guess I'm not doing a good job showing, but there's, like, some little diagrams that show, like, units, and yeah, it looks like a really cool book. So I might try to go through it partially with Google Translate and a dictionary.
Cool.
See what I can glean.
Well, there you go, Critter.
But it's called, just to make it clear, it's called Show Me the Starcraft by Lee Sung-Wan. All
right. Wizard of Bob asks, if you guys were in charge of making balance changes or changes to stop the game becoming stale, maybe after BlizzCon, what units would you be looking at changing? So, sorry, Schamtoo. I'm sure there'll be some questions. But Dan?
I mean, I would actually just say, if we were talking about StarCraft 2, I would stop making balance changes, because I think that hasn't been a thing for StarCraft 2 in a long while.
It seems like
it's just they keep changing everything, and I feel like the game can't get to a figured out state because everything's constantly in flux.
Wizard of Bob asks this question, and Schamtoo says, "Fuck your question." Dan, can you please oblige our Patreon member here?
I prefer less balance changes to more. I like a very slow approach personally.
Yeah.
What units would I be looking at changing? I don't have too many big problems with too much going on right now within StarCraft 2, to be honest. Like, I think that it's really dangerous to change anything that might be, like, I think the Baneling is basically the most powerful thing, but I think you can't change it because it'll really screw up the game, right? Nothing really comes to mind as something that I really, really, really want changed.
Yeah, I always give a snarky answer to this kind of question, and I apologize because it gets asked a lot. I think for a lot of people, it's really interesting for them to talk about what units you would change, and like I get asked to add units to the game and stuff like that. I have to tell you, for those of us out in the thick of StarCraft and StarCraft 2, I feel comfortable in speaking on behalf of, like, a lot of people. We don't really look at the game and go, God, if they just remove this one unit, it would be so much better. I know that pro gamers on Twitter will tell you that kind of stuff, but if you pull them aside, and it's like at least 15 minutes after they just got done losing to a guy that used that unit, they probably don't think it's actually a good idea to change something. Like, whenever they're like, God, Hydras are so broken. Can you imagine Zerg without Hydras? What do you do?
It would be bad. It would be
pretty bad. So it's just stuff like that. So I mean, I'm just saying this. You can keep asking it. It's definitely, but I'm gonna keep note, like, of all our guests, I'm guessing you're not going to get a good answer out of anyone. And Dan's such a nice guy that he'll try each week, but it's like watching a person with no arms try to wipe their ass. It's, like, really hard to do. You have to use your feet and stuff. It gets weird. Hydro. I know Jeff is going to read this in a voice that makes me sound like a clueless, naive 12-year-old.
Whoa! He really watches the show, this guy.
But let's take the gloves off. Do you think David Kim's departure has been good for StarCraft? Game's been on an upswing since his departure, and some attribute this to his departure. The game balance being in a good spot. Dan? Would you like to say that StarCraft's in a good spot because David Kim is gone?
No, and I think that this is stupid. I've actually, since the beginning, been a big advocate of David Kim. I've talked to him a lot of times. I think he really knew what he was doing and was doing a great job. And, like, I thought that his approach to the balance changes was really good. And I think this has nothing to do with him leaving. I think that overall, it's a good team, and they've learned more and more about StarCraft over the years. That's the main reason why the balance patches get better and better, is because they have more data to work with.
Yeah. David Kim got a bad rap, guys. He got blamed for a lot of stuff, and it became kind of a meme to be kind of nasty to him, but he is actually such a nice guy, so passionate. And the amazing thing was, he actually had super thick skin, by the way, for how much shit he got, and he did a good job of not letting that get to him. But the kind of sad thing, I think, and I hope people kind of turn their opinion around on this, it's kind of like the presidential thing. Like, every time a new president steps in and the policies of, like, 4 or 10 or 12 years ago start to actually finally take shape, people are like, wow, this person finally turned it around. Like, it doesn't work that way. It takes a long time to get things moving. And obviously, that's a very kind of simplistic approach to a very complex thing. But my point is, we have a lot to thank David Kim for. So, Hydro, I know you're not, like, calling for his head or saying anything wrong, but just know, guys, that he was awesome. We really like him, and we miss him, and hopefully he's working on something awesome. There's no ill will here. He was great.
And if I may, I think one of the things that you kind of, like, that kind of gets pointed out here is that there's a whole entire team behind these people. It's not just like David Kim was the one who's just like, yeah, you know what, let's just go do this. It's like there's a bunch of people out there that are coming up with all the balance changes. So, like, whether or not it's David Kim or not, it's like there's a whole team there. It's a bunch of people that are coming up with balance changes.
It's a whole team of people, and it's just, you know, and some would tell you that they don't matter as much and they're not really that important, but no, I'm just kidding. A lot of those guys listen to the show, by the way.
I'm trying so hard to be impartial here because my name's David Kim and I always get like and it's like it sucks.
Wait,
because
your name is David Kim?
Yes, yeah, my actual name is David Kim. So it's like I had like a couple of tournaments back in the day, and like they're on YouTube, and some of my friends were like, "Oh, you're on YouTube." I'm like, "Not really," but then they looked me up. They all thought I was the Starcraft 2 David Kim. They're like, "Damn, you're sick." I was like,
Could have made your handle
these
Davey.
are people, These are people that like don't know StarCraft, so I don't want to go into the details of like explaining it. But yeah, I mean, it sucks. That's why I have the Jaeyun everywhere. Like even at work, I have that like right in the middle. Just because
you don't have to answer this, but was it your white friends that asked you this question?
No, probably not. But it was just I don't know. I have like the top 3 most common Korean American names in America. I'm pretty sure
it's a big one. I die every time though when I see my friends.
That's amazing though that we now have a Brood War David Kim. That's so great.
Dan's very happy. Bilbo asks, "Hey guys, thanks for keeping me hard at gym every week."
Keep going.
With your podcast, XX, I'm really struggling with ladder anxiety. What do you mean keep going, by the way? He said, thanks for keeping me hard at gym every week.
I think he means working hard, Jeff.
No. I reject your reading of this, Dan. This guy...
His first language is English, Jeff.
I want to be in Mexico City and accidentally be like, you know what? Thanks for making my penis solid. Anyways, I'm really struggling with ladder anxiety, which then makes me feel like an asshole. And I always end up watching Twitch instead of playing in my limited spare time these days. Any tips on getting over it? I've accepted the fact I'm never going to be a pro gamer, but I still feel like I'm caring way more about my results than I should. Thanks, Legends. That's something you guys can answer. You guys ever dealt with ladder anxiety and have any advice?
Yep. My advice is it's because your data set is so incredibly small. Like if you only play like 1 or 2 games and you're really worried about like losing those games, you're gonna have ladder anxiety. But if you end up playing for like 4 hours a day or 5 hours, or if you play like long sessions, you get over ladder anxiety way easier because like you're like, all right, well I lost that game. Well, I'll just go, see what the next game is. And you just kind of build up like a stamina almost for like and then
Good
endurance.
Yeah, no, I would add like I would say I say this to like some of my viewers because like I said before, the new ladder came out for remaster at least. I didn't care about ladder at all. So I would always say, you know what, like when you play ladder, just don't look at your MMR. Like I think sometimes that's what like really tilts you sometimes. Like you care, I mean, like if you're just trying to get better, I mean, just view ladder as a tool for you to just get games. And then every now and then you can care about MMR at other time when you want to like, test yourself and be like, okay, I want to see where I'm at. Then you can care about MMR. But then I think, I can relate to, like, I actually was trying to get S rank on the ladder last Friday, and I was trying really hard. And this was like the only time I really cared about ladder. And then I started getting like tilted because I was like 2 points away, and then I'd lose like 25 points. And I was like, I'm actually getting tilted, and I'm starting to cheese. I started playing stupid. I started getting like off track. And then when I stopped caring, that's when I actually started playing better. And I would just say, if you can, just like spam the OK button so you don't even see your MMR and just like just play.
My advice, I actually never really had this, so I'm speaking more from like a strategic perspective as opposed to I did this, I know that it works. But make an account. Don't add any of your friends. Don't add anyone at all. It is a Smurf technically, but I'm guessing if you have a lot of ladder anxiety, we're not really worried about you. And I'm not saying this to be mean, but like you're not smashing on noobs and being a dick. You're probably just a middling player or whatever. That way, the only person who knows that you won or lost really is you, which is also a part of ladder anxiety and difficult.
Right.
But that's where you take the advice from these guys, where you like, don't look at your MMR, don't worry about it, just get the next game going, and then try to mentally work on yourself in the sense that like it's StarCraft. You're supposed to lose at best 50% of your games. Like ideally, you're supposed to lose half your games. You're playing that game, so if you start to lose more than that, you're not abnormal. You're actually more normal than most people. If you start to win more than 50%, now your results are cashing in and you're actually like a superhuman on some level. So do what you can to be anonymous so that you don't have to worry about anybody knowing, and then put in the work like they're saying. StarCraft's one of those games, and that's where I become the curmudgeon old man too. Like a lot of people are like, hey, I've only got 30 minutes to play a day. What do I do to get better? I'm like, I used to have a game plan and some nice answer from it, but now I'm like, you probably won't. 30 minutes a day, that's really hard to do. Like, and you have to accept that on some level too, by the way, and that's okay. Like, it's still a game. Like, when I read this answer and someone's like, I'm not going to be a pro gamer, that's the first part of it. That's good that you know that. And if you can get joy out of this game and play it, then please give yourself that ability to do that. StarCraft has this weird thing where everyone gets really hung up on, like, you have to be a pro gamer, otherwise you're trash. No.
Yeah.
You can just play for fun.
Yeah.
I have a slightly different answer, but definitely all the stuff you guys said was really good. Anxiety is generally a fear of status change in the future, of your perceived status from other people. So a lot of times this is very ego related. Like in your head, you are of a certain level and you're afraid of losing that. You log on, you lose some games, you're not as good as you thought you were. But the thing is, people correlate that. Like, StarCraft's a hard game. You have to be really good at it to win, and you have to be really smart to win or something like that, right? So a lot of people correlate that with things like self-worth and self-value, and you don't need to do that, and you shouldn't do that because it has nothing to do with it. You're literally just playing the hardest video game on Earth. And it, like, everyone pretends that they're better than they are basically all the time. This is just something humans do, and try to break yourself away from that and just enjoy playing a very difficult game.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bilbo. Good question. Some drunk Canadian asks, hey guys, a couple months back, episode 10, you guys discussed with Rifkin and Winter about what it takes to become a successful streamer in the business of esports. Some of the things you guys mentioned was being yourself, not trying to emulate someone else, and don't be afraid to reach out. So I'm reaching out to you guys. I'm looking to do a 24-hour charity stream in November in support of the British Columbia Cancer Foundation to commemorate my 4 years of being cancer-free and as a way of honoring Total Biscuit, who I still am a huge fanboy of. Do you guys have any further advice on that? I can do what I can do to make this stream successful. Can I bribe any of you with pizza, non-sentient, to host my charity stream for a short period of time? Sending you guys much love from the Great White North. So I'll take that first, obviously, and I will just say, awesome that you're putting that on. And then I would tell you, and this is less in line with answering you directly and more in just general advice. Don't ever be afraid of the answer no, or don't ever be afraid of asking. Like, I know that the risk of me reading this is I read it in a silly voice and be like, of course we'll never do it. Like, of course. So kudos to you for being brave and forward and saying, hey, can I get Artosis flown out to Canada to host this thing? And Jeff, will you do some stuff? And it's like, you know, the answer probably is no. More often than not, because it's not because we don't like you or don't want to. It's because we have other things we have to do. But my now answer to you would be, you know, let us know the dates. And, of course, if we're available, I mean, the least we can do is retweet it or post it after a show or something. Absolutely. As far as us spending time being on it, it's hard for us to do that because it's a... This is our career. We're professionals, and you know we have other things we have to do and that kind of stuff. But yeah, you can definitely. You reached out. That's awesome. And just the generic advice of asking. Always ask. The worst thing that someone can say is no. The best thing is you could be surprised.
Yeah,
Dan?
That's a very powerful statement for everything in life. When you ask, the worst that can happen is no. But yeah, just maybe message us, and we'll talk about it on the Pylon Show. And this week in Starcraft, and give you some tweets and stuff like that.
Do all that stuff.
Congratulations. On being cancer-free. It's great.
Yep. Huge congrats to you, man. Benja Death, is this the year of the reverse Artosis curse? Dan, you've been getting some predictions right.
The Artosis curse is not real.
Okay.
I just want to re-underline this again. Okay, so, for instance, there have been 2 events at which, because this was becoming too meme-ish, we actually took score of all the casters predicting. Okay? One was an I Am Katowice, where I got second place, Jeff got first place in predictions amongst all the casters there. And the only reason that Jeff beat me is because I bet Revival was going to win a match, and he was going to win in Game 5, and then fucking 4 random Spider Mine or Widow Mines and random spot on the map, he flew all of his mutas into it. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, Jeff, all right, you take the lead, and you ended up closing it out on me by 1 point. But I would have won if those mutas hadn't randomly found those mines when he had the game 1. So, okay. The second time was at BlizzCon a few years ago, and I won. Okay, the prediction, the Artosis curse thing is not real at all, and people, every time that I do predict something incorrect, which everyone will do sometimes, they bring it up, but there you have it. When it's been measured, I win. Or, well, Jeff beat me that one time, but I explained it.
Comes close.
Weird circumstance with those mines involved.
Yeah. I think, actually, I remember correctly, Dan was, like, huddled over some weird... He had some kind of like some chicken bones or something like that laying on the floor.
This is how I figure out what's going. I throw them out of a bag. I throw the bones, man.
He said something like I couldn't understand all it wasn't in English, but he said something about Widow Mines and Meatless, and then that happened. So I was like, geez, that's powerful stuff. Foot CU 1. Footy CU 1. I don't know. I hope I'm reading that correctly. He asks, what 2 players would make the deadliest Archon mode team? In my opinion, beyond an innovation. Neeb and Stats, Rogue and Serral. Your thoughts? And we can answer this in Brood War way as well. What 2 players would form the best single Brood War player for you guys?
Oh, God.
Flash and Flash. If Flash could clone himself.
Flash and Boxer is the correct answer, by the way. So Flash,
that would be...
Flash takes all of the mechanical sides, and Boxer makes all the decisions.
I would say Flash and Last, actually.
Get out of here. That's a hipster answer. Last. You mean the guy that lost to Jaeyun? Nice.
I mean, you probably want a macroer and a microer.
Yeah.
What if... Okay, here's what it is. Here's the real answer. Okay? SOS and... Who's a great mechanical Protoss? Like Stats or something. Like, imagine that. Like, you have SOS's brains, but Stats never misses a pylon and keeps all of his units being made. Now, that's a combo.
And Patience's aggressive blinks. That's the proto.
Yeah, that's it right there. Oh my god.
They're like, oh my god, he's playing mechanically perfect blinks
with
forward.
the bad macro of Artosis. Yeah, no, you got it there. That's so good.
All right. Bradadia asks, we only have 3 more guys, and then we'll ask a few questions from the general section. Bradadia asks, what are your respective off-the-cuff first-place predictions for GSL and WCS Montreal? Do you think Cyril and Maru continue to dominate, or will we see a new face lift their respective trophies this time around? By the way, my name is pronounced like Jeremiah. Bradadia. Oh, Bradadia.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think Cyril will probably win in
CSL.
Montreal. I think absolutely not Maru. I mean, I always say Rogue. For every tournament, Rogue is my choice, guys, and I will update you when that changes.
Sucks that he's about to lose to Neeb then, I guess, huh? And then Neeb wins the GSL. Can you imagine?
If you'd like to make a bet on that, you can message me after the show.
Yeah, no thanks. It's not my official guess. I do think Cyril wins Montreal. I think Cyril is quite literally the best player in the world. If not, then he's like on the short list of 2 or 3. He's way up there, and he's the kind of guy that it's not gimmicky, it's not stylistic, he's not getting lucky, it's not even been a close call. He's better than everybody. So if he shows up to Montreal and loses, that'll be the storyline of the last like 8 months of StarCraft. And then for the GSL, I default to what Artosis, and Nick have said in the past, which is like, we're so lucky that we have such a high-level GSL right now that, I don't know, you can make a guess, and sure, like, Rogue's not a bad guess, Maru's not a bad guess, but there's other guys that could do it too. Like, everyone discounts Gumio, and, like, he just sneaks in there and wins sometimes, and then there's just so many good players. So I really don't know. My fanboy and blind bias says Neeb. That'd be the coolest thing ever. But he's got Rogue. It's going to be tough. Washburn asks, every Terran unit in most buildings has multiple modes or functions except the Widow Mine. Is this a design oversight? And would you like to see it have another role?
No, there's enough to do already in StarCraft 2. It does not need anything else going on.
I mean, I kind of always thought that was the point of the StarCraft Terran design, was that like everything kind of deploys and does something in that kind of way. I mean, like, I consider Terran in StarCraft 2 to be the like race of circles. There's like all the circles that you just don't go in. There's Liberators and Siege Tanks and Widow Mines and everything else. And this is like, these are the circles of death.
Okay. Yeah. Now I have a question we can all answer. And this is the final one from the Patreon question section. MLTY, which I think is like Melty or Multi, maybe?
I would say Melty.
Melty? He always asks questions. Great questions. Reposting, as it got skipped, if you were a sentient cheesecake, would you let your significant other eat you? Jaeyun?
Damn. I don't know. Yes.
Is there like a severity to it? Like not just a casual eating of you, but like they needed to eat you to survive. Would you?
Then yeah, I would do that. But this is a conflicting question, so I'm just gonna say yes and pass it on.
Dan?
It doesn't stipulate that it's like a life or death situation, so of course not. Listen, I'm a sentient cheesecake, okay? She's gonna have to get me some cheesecake pants and a cheesecake shirt, and we're gonna start watching different types of TV shows, probably baking shows, and life's gonna change, but till death do you part. Am I right?
See, I have a lot of troubles with this question because you're just a sentient cheesecake. You don't then also have a mouth or a way of communicating. Is your significant other another cheesecake, or is that too much of an assumption by me? Is it anything else? In which case, how do you communicate to them your willingness to be consumed? Maybe there is no way to signify this, and they just eat you anyways. In which case, the question's faulty from the very beginning.
Would your significant other even know that you are the sentient cheesecake, that they are a significant other too?
And how did you become a significant other?
That's the real question. I think I love every cheesecake that's in front of me, but I'm not sure if they're my significant other.
All right.
You know?
Okay.
I'm kind of a one night stand kind of cheesecake lover. I'm not really like a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And then this guy tags in someone else for a question. Patreon people are getting really tricky with their questions. I'm noticing some interesting angles here. He also says, and from GGE Mini 19, he says, if you were stranded on a deserted island with 3 different StarCraft pro gamers, which 3 pro gamers would you be stuck with and why?
Okay. I got this one real quick.
Go for it.
Okay. First off, Parting and Nathanius.
Wow.
Because I will be so entertained by these two. Okay.
They'd kill each other.
And then probably, I would say Harstem. He looks like he can probably climb a tree and open a coconut and is a strong person. So
I'll take it next. I'm going to take this a different approach. It would have to be someone like Toss Girl, I think, because we're supposed to repopulate this island. And probably that is one of the best ways to go about doing that. Then I would take Special, because I think in this scenario he'd be one of the first to kind of die, and then that is a food source, of course, but it's also just speaking purely from an evolutionary standpoint, I don't need competition for my repopulation of this island. So if you can see a weakness and see something fall, but I remain strong, then it just sends good messages. And the third pro gamer, I think, would have to be someone like Idra or something like that, because I feel like Greg is the kind of guy who would just immediately accept his fucking lot in life, basically, and do what it takes to survive. I could see Greg shirtless and in some kind of like weird loincloth shorts, wading out into the ocean and then barehanded ripping fish out of the ocean, and like maybe losing a finger doing it, but fuck it, like what are you gonna do, die, kind of thing. What about you guys?
Yeah, you guys, I was trying to like go with the angle, like, hey, I met Larva at Zotac Cup. He was cool and he was chill, and that was gonna be my answer. And I heard you guys, and I was like, all right, man, I'm just not as creative, and I'm just kidding.
I'd go with Nada, because Nada's body, so he's obviously fit, so he can like handle island life. Machine, because also like pretty nice guy. I don't feel like he's gonna like eat me or anything, but also like seems to have other skills other than play.
You picked the ginger on a fucking island out
Dude,
in the
I'm
tropics.
already dead. Do you see how white I am?
You're both dead. You should have picked Harstem. He's basically a tree. You could stand underneath him and use his shade to keep your life preserved. Yeah. Do I have to answer this for everyone? God. All right. Next, you'll tell me Nyokin, which, by the way, he died on the way there. So terrible pick.
Oh, God. I don't have a third. Yeah. Oops.
Jaeyun, who'd you say?
I don't know. I was going like I said, I was going with the angle that like I was seeing it more from like an entertainment, not like a survival aspect. So I just took like a gag man like Larva or something like that, or I don't know. I have no idea. I actually don't know the personalities very well, aside from what I just see on the games.
Okay. Excellent question. We got one more. Hawk says, "Did my question get answered? Question mark? Question mark?" Looks like it didn't, but thankfully you reposted it. Half question. I would like to have an analysis segment on Maru. Been following him since Prime days and saw glimpses of greatness, but not domination with a capital D like this in his age of StarCraft. How is he doing so well at this level? Also, I wonder how much has to do with Jin Air, ... After the final Pro League win, Jin Air kept support and the team really started to destroy as individuals, ... So, by the way, a question of I'd like to have an analysis segment isn't a question. That's like me saying, like, I like lasagna. It's technically, I guess, a question, but it's also me just saying I like lasagna in a question voice. So you'd like to
I like lasagna too?
I'd like you to analyze Maru? It's like, do you though? I mean, yeah, I hear it. Thank you for the question, and more importantly, thank you for giving us money to our show. You're awesome. But no, there's no answer to your question because it's not a question. You just would like a segment. So I don't... Can you do a segment? And I'm like, yes, I could.
Okay.
All right, we'll do
Maybe
a couple.
we'll talk more heavily about Maru.
Yeah.
Get a Terran Pro Gamer on here and talk about him some, maybe.
Whoa, Cobra. Whoa. We're not done yet, bud. Cobra. With the overlays here. Hang on. There we go. Couple more. Cobra's ready to be done, by the way, guys. You saw him on camera earlier. He looks that handsome. He's going out on a date. I can feel it.
No, I was trying to let people know the Patreon where they could submit questions to and show them that website.
Oh, no, that's too much, Cobra. We're not that kind of show.
Okay, go ahead.
The only person that puts effort in. Jeff's like, shut up.
Whoa! I put some effort in here, okay? Now, I do look at these questions. We're only going to do a couple because we have so many Patreon questions. And we're going to keep, you know, if you're like, God dang it, I really want my question answered, then, you know, you can do $2 a month. And then you can. Anyways, so I'm looking for people that have asked questions, and then I'm trying to favor that, but I do miss it sometimes. The only reason I'm mentioning this, by the way, is because I once again had a guy who's like, I asked a question 3 weeks in a row, it never got answered, I hate you. And I was like, I hate you too. No, I didn't say that. I shouldn't. So I'm looking for questions, and if you guys see one. Polly, who's asked this a few times. After the end of EG, do you see any team with similar characteristics to EG? Cocky, arrogant, slightly villainous? If not, would the scene benefit from that if one would appear? And then they write several more sentences about how it was a good thing. I don't think so. You guys see any teams like EG anywhere?
Bunch of arrogant guys. Well, there's no good American teams right now, so no. Because that's really kind of an American thing.
Yeah, it could be.
It's very hard to get like Korean players or European players to be as cocky and arrogant, where I've always felt like it's much easier to get that out of the American players. I think it's maybe a cultural thing.
And to answer your question, would it be good for the scene? Of course it would. Villains and personality and flamboyant stuff like that is really good. It's something for people to talk about and to get behind. Haven SC asks, of course free will exists. Why do you think people play Protoss?
Huh?
That is the question. Of course free will exists. Why do you think people play Protoss?
That's a
Get easy
question.
wins.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Alessandro, by the way, does a great job every week of helping fill up the This Week in Starcraft. So I'd love to answer his question here. He says, when someone wins a big trophy, how do they get it home? They can barely lift the thing, let alone carry it down the street to a snack afterwards. So that second part got a little bit weird. But the question about trophies, it's kind of a cool one because it doesn't get talked about. The big trophies, by the way, like the big golden cups and stuff like that, the players very rarely get to take that home. More often than not, like IEM and ESL and stuff, they put their name on it, and I think they might let like their team take it for a period of time, but even that is not every time. Sometimes they just keep it themselves and be like, here's some pictures with it. You don't get to take it home. Big checks you do get to take home, and a little bit of Brood War history for you guys. Skew once won a check. And then famously on the way back, we were just kind of like, what are you going to do with that check? And he's like, I don't fucking know. And then he threw it into the river.
Yep, he did.
Because it's not a real check. And he's a bit of a...
And what, he got third place that year. There was a third place check.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Tosis with his fourth place finish.
Kept that check.
Just
oh, you didn't get one.
Single tear going down my cheek. I'd like to have that check on my wall. Yeah, like for instance, the StarCraft 2 BlizzCon trophy, that's not the trophy they get. There's a smaller trophy that pros take home. That trophy stays with Blizzard.
So you just take it home normally, by the way. Oh, and some trophies they will ship back. If it's like too big of a deal, they'll be like, yeah, we'll ship that for you. But I don't know. And the other one from my perspective from EG, you did get to take that shield home, by the way. When your team won the International, Alex Garfield and EG very proudly displayed that shield, which is pretty cool. And then the players, by the way, it's like, what about the players? They don't get the trophy? No, they just got millions of dollars. So they gave zero shits about the trophy.
I'd prefer the trophy, to be honest. Screw the millions of dollars. The trophies are great.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just saying how like it's not driven by the money. It's just all about the pride. You know?
Actually, I've got to tell a really, really quick little story. Okay, so there's a couple trophies from various stuff like the Hearthstone thing and stuff out in my living room up on the counter, and my daughter, 6 years old, looked, Dada, those up there. I'm like, oh, the trophies. She's like, yeah. Why don't you ever get any more of those? I'm like, Dad is not good enough at games anymore, little girl.
The honesty of children.
Yep.
Then there's a lot of questions here, and I am reading them. I'll ask this last one because Bob the Ever Living's awesome. He's been around. Question: what do you think about the effects of an across-the-board nerf of all scouting in StarCraft 2?
You,
Bob.
Sounds terrible.
Bob,
oh my God, the randomness will go way up.
Bob,
yeah.
Come on, man.
How do you like those dice rolls?
No thanks.
No, thank you.
All right, now Cobra, if you'd like to show them in the future, if you guys want to join our Discord and ask these questions, you can. And if you are really wanting to interact with us and also support this fantastic content, you can become a Patreon member. And I think Cobra's about to pull open something here. I also learned recently there's a delay, which makes sense. But I oftentimes like, Cobra, pull this thing over, and then it's not showing for the stream at all for like 10 seconds.
Oh, and then you start talking your trash.
Yep,
yeah,
it's happened a few times. That's what you deal with when you have the tremendously amateurish Jeff. But anyways, thank you to our Patreon supporters. I think Cobra's pulling up the graphic here in a second. If you just go to, well, here's the Patreon page. So 246 of you guys are really lovely. We're at 1,600. Like we said, if we get to 2,000, we're going to start paying our guests, which is, I think, something that Dan and I feel pretty strongly about and really want to do. And then beyond that, I would love to talk about what we can do more with that as well. Of course, there's things like Shamtoo needs some money for his tournament. Let's put some there. And Jaeyun's doing a show match and stuff like that. So that's the kind of thing we want to do if the show continues to grow and continues to show that the StarCraft community wants to financially get behind this kind of content. And here's the people that have. So shout out to these people. Thank you all very much. And then I've had a lot of people come to my channel and donate or sub and say, hey, I really appreciate the Pylon shows. So just know that that too factors in. Like, not literally. I don't literally take money out of my thing and put it there. But to me, as the guy that's one of the founders of the show, if that's the kind of stuff I hear and get, then that means that I'm like, well, this is a part of my life. I'm going to keep doing it. And that's how content works. So thank you to these guys. That's going to do it for the show. I want to give a special shout out, as always, to our guests. Jaeyun, you stream. Do you have a schedule? Do you have anything you want to talk about or advertise that people can check out in the future?
Yeah, no, I mean, the streaming, I don't have a schedule just because it gets a little bit tough with work. I mean, I try to stream at least 3 or 4 times a week, just whenever I have time. But there is a North America team battle that Artosis is playing in. I believe that is going to be on 2 days. Should be next Thursday and next Friday at 4 p.m. PBT. So if you guys want to see Artosis just crush some Protoss.
Or get crushed by Let's not overbuild. Let's not.
No, I'm just trying to build the hype. You know?
I don't know who this guy is, but he's a Protoss player, so I don't need to.
I think it should be a good matchup. I think you guys are pretty.
Okay.
Who are you playing against?
Kingdom.
Someone named Kingdom?
The Korean?
You should be able to win.
No,
definitely not. Definitely not the Korean.
You should be able to
if it was the Korean, I already know how that would end, though.
You got this. I believe in you.
Yeah. So.
Check him out. He's on Twitter, by the way, and you know, he tweets his stuff and whatnot. So give him some follows. Good Broodware content coming out of him. But speaking of good Broodware content, Schamtoo. We never got to tell the story, by the way, of you. I forgot the details of it, but I loved your little drama with the random in your tournaments.
Oh my god, dude!
You just came out and you're like, "Yo, listen, I'm putting this tournament on. If you cross me, I have the power to say stop." What was it that happened?
So this is why, like, I'm an awful tournament organizer, and I'm just hoping someone else takes the reins from me because I don't really care that much. I just kind of laissez-faire it. But there was this tournament that was going on, and this like random player was playing random through the tournament and taking out names, and I was like, wow, this person might be really good. But they were just like cheesing like ridiculously, and it got up to Jaeyun, who's like a really, really good female Zerg player. And she literally, like, we get them like the first game, and she's just like, she literally just says in chat, Schamtoo. And I'm casting, and I just go, I know, it's awful. We're like, I've had many discussions about random being in my tournaments. Just be aware that I'm going to probably be removing random in the next tournament. And I said this, like, also I kind of typed something in like the chat, and I'm just like, yeah, don't worry, I'm going to remove random next tournament. The random player got furious. this person like started flipping out, and then they were just like, fine, choose my race. You know, whatever, I'll play whatever race. It proceeded to then get bodied. And then they sent me this massive
I read that.
text that was, it started off with like, how dare you judge me? And then it eventually got to, I don't need your tournament. I can run a $3,000 tournament, which, by the way, everybody in the goddamn world, as soon as they get like banned from my tournament, are like, I don't need you in your tournament. I can run $30,000 tournaments every week and be fine. I'm like,
should ban more people.
I'm excited for this tournament. When's it happening? Yeah, right?
Yeah, where is that? Yeah.
By the way, none of them actually happened. And then it ended up being like, I only need Jesus and the holy water of Christ and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, how did we get to? Woof, it was a thing. And anyway, I just kind of trolled them for a bit more, and they got really upset. And then I blocked them because I was tired of it. Yeah, my tournaments get some really interesting characters. There was like the 30-page Team Liquid thread about whether or not I should allow Koreans in.
I saw some of that.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Well, Schamtoo, not to derail your shout outs, but what are you up to? You were talking a little bit about your tournaments coming back possibly. What can people look at?
Just my Twitch page and my Twitter will be where all the information is. Of course, Team Liquid tournaments, for, you know, also the other posts for How About You. I generally post it pretty much everywhere. And then also I just want to put out an ancillary shout out to CPL again, just because I'm just proud of my buddy getting his tournament. It's getting pretty successful. And then so that's about it. Everything SCHAMTOO.
Very good. Thank you guys for coming on. And last but certainly not least, Dan, as always, what are you up to, man? What do you got going on?
Yeah. Well, Pylon Show continues onward. I think you're missing next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the next 2 weeks, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, that's okay though. We're still gonna have a lot of fun, Cobra and I. Cobra, I will be messaging you 12 minutes before the show starts with who the guests will be. And that'll be great. So keep watching the Pylon Show. I will stream tomorrow if I can. A hurricane's supposed to hit tonight, and I live an hour and a half from the KSL studio, so there is a chance I will not be able to stream tomorrow. I'll be stranded up there. We'll see. But KSL tonight, the round of 8 happens tonight and tomorrow. So tonight is Rain versus Best and Jaeyun versus Snow, all best of 5s. And so that's super awesome. Make sure you tune into that. That is in 7 hours from right now on the Starcraft Twitch channel. That's it.
Very, very cool. And just for me, guys, like I said, next week I'm actually going to be in Washington, D.C. commentating a Warhammer 40K tabletop tournament for the first time ever. Which I'm really excited about, really cool. And if you're even remotely interested in that, it'll be hosted here on the channel, and I'll tweet it out, of course. But you can go to Warhammer community, like all their stuff's going to be talking about, so you can see it there. It's going to have the front page of Twitch as well. We're going to try to get some nerds into Warhammer and tabletop. And then the following week is WCS Montreal, where I'll be traveling to go commentate that alongside my fellow nerds like Fear Dragon, and I believe Pig's going to be there, and Zombie Grub, and Rotterdam. A lot of great people. Putting on the final WCS stop, but then after that, I think it's pretty smooth sailing. We'll get back on check. So I welcome, and I'm so excited about all the jokes about how it's the Artosis Pylon show. And Jeff hardly does anything. I can't wait. But until then, thank you guys so much, and thank you everyone for making the show possible. Thank you to our guests. Thank you to our Patreon supporters and everybody else. See you guys later. We'll see you next week.